Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. I hope you're good, and looking forward to today's challenge. We're at MK Studios Lisbon Airport, Lima Papa Papa Tango. Just been updated to reflect the new runway changes as well in real life, with compass deviation and all that sort of stuff. And we're in the Fenix A320 today, the CEO variant. You can hear those engines clicking away in the wind. And we're boarding at the moment. The jetties don't work for me, bizarrely. So we're not using them. Using stairs. There we are, one of the 4K liveries included in the Fenix Liveries Managers Pack. And we're on the VATSIM network. If you are new, perhaps joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. Please do hit the subscribe button down below, and don't forget as well throughout today's live stream to give us a little like. We're off to Pico in the Azores, and we're tracking our flight on landing rate monitor and FS hub through Osprey Airways, our channel airline. And if we do touch down less than 500 foot per minute, let's hope so, but it does need to be firm. It is a short runway. We will be getting the Pico achievement that we've created as well for today. Alberto, good morning. Gav, good morning. Craig, Matthew F, the Night Shepherd, Jonathan, and Shuts, channel members in the live chat, welcome, and everyone else as well tuning in. Good to have you here with us. Stan 117. And boarding wise, I think we're still boarding. We're doing it real time. Almost there actually, probably another 5 to 10 minutes to go. But in any case, we put our provisional load sheet in there with a takeoff weight of 66.4 for our departure takeoff performance. It's showing us a V1 speed of 153 today. Good grief. Flaps 1, THS down 0.5, and then flex temp 64 degrees. IRS is aligned, and refueling is done. So zero fuel weight is going to be... Where is it? I'll have to wait for that. Let's let everything complete first. We'll get our final load sheet before we faff too much with that. Let's go and add our departure in anyway. And it's going to be runway 20, Busan 3, Sierra departure. In it goes. There's only 3 stands today, but we've got already more than 3 flying along, which is fantastic. It's going to be quite fun when we get there. So basically the rules are for arrival into Pico, just park wherever you can get space. Just need to find Doc's little route briefing he's given me. Doctor on board, one of our channel members, NADP 1347, and engine off 1347. Jolly good. Speak of the devil. There we go, so we're going to overfly Netvo, that's where the little triangle is there, then to Busan, above 3000 for Netvo, that's looking pretty good. And in the RadNav page, it's got the return there, and a couple of VORs that we can track to, should we need to, so we can plop those onto active, QNH 1014. And while we complete boarding, let's just have a quick peek at Navigraph. So there we are, Terminal 1 in Lisbon. Stan 117, we're going to push start facing north onto Alpha 2, and then we're going to taxi Alpha all the way down to Uniform 4, Uniform 5. What did Doc say for a departure? It was an intersection departure somewhere, wasn't there? Is it? Where has it gone? I put it on another piece of paper, which I've since binned, because I now have another notepad. I'm sure he said U3. Scroll through Discord, the members tab, U5, there we go, lovely. So that's kind of what we're expected anyway. U5 is right at the end, otherwise we've got to backtrack all the way down there, but we don't really bother doing that. So we're going to do U5. So we need to make sure, I'll put a quick note of that, U5 on my piece of paper. We need to make sure that's in the performance calculation. Departing on runway 20 on the Busan 3 Sierra, we're going to head runway heading 205 degrees. Outbound away from the airport, at Netvo above 3000, turning westbound 263 degrees track to Busan, and then we're over the Atlantic. You can see at the bottom of the charts there on the Navigraph screen, the initial climb clearance is flight level 60. And then that's it. Flights to Porta below 245, Agero and Aredi above 245. The transition altitude at the top showing 4,000 feet. We're in the new Fenix update today as well. It's been recently updated. So we're going to be checking that out for the first time. We'll see how she acts. Flight level 360, cost index of 3625, and then we've imported our wind as well. So we've done the wind request through all our different phases, so it can basically calculate top of descent, top of climb, and all that sort of stuff quite nicely. There's boarding complete. We need to add the intersection here for U5 like so, and it's going to recalculate everything, and we'll get different V speeds. There we go. Flex tempo 59 now. So we're going to squeeze a bit more power out of the engines in this instance. Alrighty, let's go into the load sheets. 56.9 zero fuel weight. And the zero fuel weight center of gravity 30.2. And we need to tune to ground. Lisbon ground 12175. We'll get our clearance through them. Block fuel 7.1, we've got 8.6, our diversion is Ponta Delgado, I believe. We've got no ATIS, but we've got a QNH. What was that? 1347, 1345. Oh, okay, so that's good. The defaults are already the correct options for us in here then. We'll sync the final load sheet and we'll recalculate the speeds with the new weights. David, hello buddy. Jonathan, welcome. Wesley, good day to you. How long's the flight? It's about 2.5 hours. So V1 138, 140, 141. Flaps 1 up 0.1 and 60. So our flex has changed again. Is there a takeoff shift? There is, 1,300. Cool. Let's get our clearance.
Portugal 496, stamp 124. If QNH 1014, we are lacking the ATIS, but we are looking for departure to Lima, Papa, India.
Pico!
By 1 minute.
How are we doing on on-time performance? Let's just quickly click the tab. My flights. 16 minutes to go. I'll do like an on-time departure. Lisbon ground, good afternoon. Azores 145 A320 on stand 117 QNH 1014. Request RFR clearance to Pico.
Azores 145, stand by 1 minute.
Roger. Paul's asking how's my frames. Weirdly enough, they're at 30. 28 to 30 frames per second at the moment. And every now and again, just watching the counter, it's dropping to 26. But I'm going to say it's averaging 28 frames per second for me at the moment. Supposedly, there's been some decent performance updates or upgrades with the Fenix A320. They've said on average across their testers an improvement of 16% with their performance. But we haven't actually tried it ourselves yet, so we're going to give it a little go, see what happens. Proof of the pudding is going to be the departure, really, because we're departing from this new, this freshly updated scenery at MK Studios Portugal, or Lisbon. And it's usually okay on performance anyway at the best of times, so 30, 35, I'm happy with that anyway. 30 frames per second is certainly smooth enough inside the sim. Yeah, just watching the counter there and it's just flicking between 28 to 30 or so. Hey, you've got a couple more pilots over there. Grab a screenshot while we wait. The controller's basically trying to sort out some few little bits. Steve says the improvement is seen when in the pilot's seat. Surely it should just be a wider improvement that's all round, right? About 2 hours, yeah, as Jonathan's saying. Nick, hello. We've got another 10 minutes or so before we go, I think. There we go, we've got ATIS now. We can see the ATIS now if it helps. It's showing ATIS Charlie. ATIS Charlie, expect ILS approach runway and use 20, transition level 50 after landing vacate via Hotel 1, advise if unable, medium large aircraft. Oh, it's just disappeared. Wind 200 degrees, 18 knots, visibility 10 kilometers, cloud, few at 1,200, few towering cumulus 2,200, broken 4,400, temp 20 degrees, dew point +14, QNH 1014. Paul's saying what CPU am I running? So I've got an AMD Ryzen 5 3600X, but my Fenix aircraft, I've got the displays to render with the GPU. So I'm in the flight deck now, and the frames haven't changed. 28 is probably, looking at this, is 28, 29 frames average. Probably giving me about 0.5 frames more being in the flight deck.
Lost station Lisbon ground is back, so sorry.
I think we're just going to use ATIS Charlie, that'll do.
Azores 145, ready to copy?
A firm, Azores 145.
Azores 145, wind 200 degrees, 18 knots, QNH 1014, break, here cleared to Pico, Lima Papa Papa India, via Busan 3 Sierra departure, squawk 2271.
Cleared to Pico, Busan 3 Sierra departure, squawk 2271, QNH 1014, Azores 145.
Azores 145, read back correct.
Company message, let's have a look.
Could we get a clearance as well?
Receive messages.
A firm wind 200 degrees, 18 knots.
There's our final load sheet. Zero fuel weight 56.9, takeoff weight 65.3 tons. We've got 137 passengers plus 5. There's our max zero fuel weight and our takeoff weight, central gravities. And showing total fuel in tanks 8642. We've used 12 already. End.
Parcel 496, read back correct.
So that's done.
Ready for pushing start, volume 7, Quebec Zulu.
That's good.
Volume 7, Quebec Zulu, pushing center, Bruce facing north.
That's done. I think we are there, folks. So let's set the, was it 2271? 227-1. Make sure APU goes on bleed.
Brisbane ground, good afternoon. Airport School 585 A320, stand 116, QNH 1014.
Off external power.
Pico.
We've got the doors one left open still, so ground services.
Not information, sorry. Winds 200 degrees, 18 knots, QNH 1014, break. You've split to Pico via Busan 37 departure.
Part brake is on, so let's get rid of the ground equipment now. 9 minutes to push before we're showing late. 6 is good. Love this.
So 585, is that correct?
Danny, well, this is the only aircraft that are getting the sort of noticeable stuff in, to be honest. PMDG 737, I don't have to reduce settings. 138. Just move these across a bit. I just want it at 250, there we go. And then these ones, one the other way. What was our V speeds? 141. That's V2 plus 10, 138. That'll do. So I've installed the new Pushback Express for today, but oddly enough, it doesn't seem to be working properly, so I have no idea what to expect really with this. We will use, even though I absolutely find it frustrating, as if we're going backwards in time, we'll use the left, right, back, start, stop, connect, tug functionality in the EFB. It's the one thing I really, really dislike in this aircraft add-on, but it is what it is. Azores 145, request push start.
Azores 145, push and start put facing north.
Start approved north, Azores 145. Okay, connect tug. Here he comes. Shuts, yeah, quite windy in Lisbon. So that was the, oh! When did that connect? Couldn't get it to connect earlier. How strange. This is where now we'll get some sort of scenery related crash to desktop when we push back. Part brake off. Back we go. As we're steering disconnected. Radex, ignition motor start, and engine 2.
All stations be advised, 80 is now online. Check 80 information.
Got to try and time the turn. Just, yeah. Oh, I hope so, I hope so. It's frustrating to try and use this. I always get it wrong. That'll do, I think. Doc, usually yes, but it only connected once boarding had completed, whereas usually it's the other way around. Looking at engine 2, that's stabilising.
Is correct. Also correct. Brake cleared.
Not done too badly actually guessing this pushback this time around.
Say again the squawk for the Foxtrot 1900 Papa.
Foxtrot 1900 Papa, squawk 3346.
I've pressed stop. There we go, I've pressed it again. Good grief. I don't know what it's doing.
Foxtrot 1900 Papa, is that correct?
Ready to taxi for incident, Quebec Zulu.
Welling 7 Quebec Zulu, stand by.
That's as neat as we've done it in the Fenix so far, so we'll take it. Yeah, the toolbar pushback mod seems to work for everything else. So yeah, I guess as Schutz is saying there, I'd rather see Fenix actually try and work with the developer to get it sorted rather than just say, this doesn't work, you can't use it. Yeah. Nick, I definitely don't need that in this, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean the PMDG pushback yesterday was my fault because I'd never used it before and I just made a right mess of it. It's funny though. I think there's 3 liveries for Azores Airlines with this aeroplane.
Yankee to correct.
That's engine
32 uniform 5 holding point
1.
0.
You can tell who's got the Fenix because the Air Portugal's pushed back really badly as well. I thought we'd left those days of MSFS behind.
Taxi to uniform
I
5
hope.
holding point runway 20 via Yankee Tango and uniform.
The ATIS mentioned about transponder being on, so let's just put it on.
For uniform 5,
Ground, Osprey 722, stand 126, with information Oscar.
1015, I need to make sure I've got
Request IFR clearance.
the things linked.
Uh,
Where is it? No, not settings.
Wake.
It's in there we go, it's in Fenix, isn't it? I think.
Can
Then
you
sim
repeat your
settings, synchronized something.
Osprey 722.
This
Osprey
one, no.
722, you're cleared to Pico via Busan 3 Sierra departure.
That's the one.
0317.
I wish it remembered that as well.
Oscar and QNH 014.
Just recycle that to make sure the other one picks up.
There was the 3 Sierra departure, Squawk 0317, QNH.
And we get our taxi charts ready as well. So ILS.
Osprey 722, read back correct.
Airport.
145. I don't give you permission to taxi.
Yeah, it's just 145 request taxi.
There's also 5 taxi to uniform 5 holding point 1820 via Alpha and uniform.
Taxi hold point uniform 5 runway 20 via Alpha in uniform as well as 145.
There's 145, also check Squawk Mode Charlie please.
Squawk mode Charlie was 145. Okay, so that's not linked with VATSIM in the aircraft then. Interesting. So that's off.
Charlie 46.
Boeing 7 Quebec Zulu, taxi to uniform 5 holding point 1820 via Alpha and uniform.
That's done. Can't really go very far because Max is over there. But we'll just do a little bit of calibration on the rudder.
Yeah, there's 145. Sorry about that, guys. I thought you were the airplane in front of you. Sorry.
That's absolutely fine. I need to apologise.
Airport 585, ready for push and start.
Did say a big thank you to the controller today. I think it's Miguel.
Let's go 585.
Yeah, Miguel. Thank you very much for giving us some ATC today. It's really really appreciated. 1181 for takeoff for tower.
Lisbon ground, a Osprey 117, leaving for clearance to Pico, information Oscar.
Osprey 117,
181.
information Oscar is correct, QNH 1014, break, you're cleared to Pico via Busan 3 Sierra departure, squawk 2256.
Danny, have I got scenery for Pico, by the way? Some freeware available, maybe. Yes, so in the Portugal and Spain update, world update from MSFS a little while back, a couple of months back, Pico was one of the handcrafted airports, you'll be pleased to know. So that's actually included in the sim now. So we've got the basically a handmade, I think it was made by Gaia Simulations, but we've got their Pico scenery, which is part of the world update, which is very nice. Doc, yeah, in fact the figures were the exact ones you gave me already in the MCDU. Saved me the job. Here we go. Look at that. There's a nice Osprey World Cargo 737 over there. There's somebody with impeccable choice. Okay, so quick check of the overheads. I might pop that on actually to PPOS. So let's leave it on wind so we can see the wind. That's all good. That's on auto.
117, ready for push and start.
Osprey 117, push and start approved.
That'll do. All the lights and signs, the rest of them we'll do in a second. And take off. We've got the ECAM ammo showing no blue already. Just following the traffic over there.
On 118.1, bye-bye, have a good flight.
118.1, thanks sir.
Rolling 7 Quebec Zulu, contact tower on 118.1, bye-bye, have a good flight.
118.1 for Rolling 7 Quebec Zulu, goodbye.
So depending on the weather in Pico today, we're having to use a local, a nearby airfield instead for our reference points for the META. But it's basically depending on the weather, we might be doing the NDB approach, which is an offset 6-degree approach, similar to that of Innsbruck really, but onto the island. There's warnings for wind shear, turbulence on final approach, very similar in that sense to Mykonos, with the way the wind will blow over the hills near to the airport, giving significant wind shear on a short final. So it sounds like it's going to be a very difficult, quite a technical, tricky approach for us to enjoy today, so looking forward to it. Doc, yeah, Max is not flying the route though, sadly. RIP. He's off to Barcelona. Jonathan, awesome. Oh, peekaboo. I spotted an Osprey.
Alpine 13 Delta Romeo, is that correct?
Portugal 585, ready for taxi.
Portugal 585, taxi to Uniform 5, holding point runway 20.
Bring our nav display to 10 just so we can monitor the departure. TCAS is showing on standby at the moment.
Portugal 585.
Put it on TA at least.
Azores 145, contact tower on 118.1, bye-bye, have a great flight.
Contact tower 118.1 for Azores 145. Thanks very much for the ATC, g'day. 181. Good afternoon, Azores 145 in sequence, ready for departure. Uniform 5.
Break, heading 7, Quebec Zulu behind, departing Air Portugal A320 over. Line up and wait, runway 20 behind.
Danny, yeah, so we've got winds, well basically our diversion is Ponta Delgada, so we've got winds in place for that, for a diversion, which is only a couple of islands away now. Uniform 5 is coming up, so we don't need to hold there. We'll hold pretty much where aviation simulation is there, Max, who's flying the Vueling. Pop those out the belly, put strobes on auto for now. John, no worries, mate. You could always get airborne, and once you get happy, connect mid-Atlantic. Doc, I love the confidence there. I'll just slam it whatever the weather is.
Process climbing 1000.
I'm hoping it'll be a bit,
Thank you,
a bit smoother than a slam. Right. Couple of custom views. Wonder what the next world update will be, Paul's saying. Has it been announced yet? I can't remember what it's going to be. I feel like it's been announced, but it slipped my mind. We've had a lot of Europe, haven't we? Greece? Greece, perhaps? Next? I can't remember. Yeah, you can certainly see the towering cumulus, can't you? Heading in. over the airfield. It looks pretty
Quebec, Zulu winds 190 degrees, 2 knots from 20, clear for takeoff.
pretty gnarly, isn't it?
Clear for takeoff, Holland 7, Quebec Zulu.
So it looks like very quickly.
145 behind the departing Visiting A320 Neo, line up at runway 20 behind.
One of the departing dwelling, line up and wait behind runway 20, Azores 145. I'll pop them on now as well because I have a habit of forgetting the lights. Okay. Hopefully the Balkans with some Croatia, that would be quite nice as well, wouldn't it? We use as much of the runway as possible. Canada would be a good one.
Tower, good afternoon. Air Portugal 585, holding at uniform 5.
Air Portugal 585, hello.
Let's just set the park brake. Make sure the pedal is not disconnected anymore. Final check. Looking good. All around. And our views are ready for that nice takeoff. Oh yeah, New Zealand would be great, wouldn't it? That would be fab. So the new update for the Fenix A320, first flight with it. We'll see how it behaves, how it handles. But yeah, make sure my rudder trim is set 0. I do have a habit of forgetting that as well as part of the checks. Now we're waiting for 2-minute separation before we go to Toga. Or flex in our case today. 138 knots is our V1 speed. Rotate 141, wasn't it? Of course, we were supposed to be Azores
145, wind 190, 20 knots, runway 20, clear for takeoff.
Runway 20, clear takeoff, Azores 145. Get a bit of throttle in. Two clicks, flex, SRS, and runway. That noise is great. That's thrust set, speed to life, and already 80 knots. That's the stick now central. Pressure's off the nose wheel. We've got a 20 knot headwind. V1, rotate.
Line up rate, runway 20, Portugal 505.
That's smooth. Away we go. Obviously the beauty of the Airbus is we can let the fly-by-wire handle it all. Autopilot 1 on, and we're flush lever climb already. So back it goes. Into the climb gate, into IMC.
145, Unicom 120, bye-bye.
Unicom for Azores 145. Thanks to the ATC, good day.
Right.
128. Lisbon traffic, Azores 145 is airborne, 2,300 feet, boost and 3 Sierra departure. Just bring them flaps up. Into IMC. What model matching do we use? It's AIG. I've done a tutorial for it, if it does help. That sort of thing helps. Look at that. Punch through the clouds. Little glimpse down below. Have a look at the other side. What have we got? Oh, spectacular. We need to jump back in the flight deck here because we're going to level off at 6 otherwise. So let's get up. 36,000 feet is our cruise today. Let's go to standard pressure. 1013, 1013, they're matched. And climbing away. So the Azores itself, though, the chain of islands, basically owned or part of Portuguese sort of municipality, and they are an autonomous section of islands, though, with some of the most tricky approaches in the world, which makes it quite entertaining, quite interesting for those of us in flight sim who like a bit of a challenge every now and again. So thanks to Ashley for suggesting the route for today, much appreciated. A little bit like a Madeira, but Madeira 2.0 with a bit more trickiness added to it as well. Jonathan, yeah, they have got some cool liveries, haven't they? There we are. Another little screen grab. And we'll dive back into the flight deck just to see what's going on. Strobes are on, but it's just one of the sort of weak points of the Fenix, I think. It's frustratingly, Strobe's emissives seem very, very weak on board the Fenix A320. I don't know why. I don't know if other people are having the same thing. But yeah, for me, at least, I find that I can't ever see strobes ever. I don't think I've ever been able to spot them, except for really close up, where we've zoomed right in and gone, okay, well there they are, just about flickering. Spoilers need to be disarmed. Wow, we're over 10,000 already. Rocket ship. Lights off. Seatbelt signs off. And we continue our climb up. Nick has got weak strobes on his installation of the Fenix as well. Yeah, I find the internal lights quite dim too, Danny. I find the flight deck seems quite dark, doesn't it? It looks great at night time for conditions, but in the day you'd expect probably a little bit more than you get from the emissives. It's a strange one. Perhaps it's local to everybody's systems, I don't know. Perhaps the beta testers liked it as it is. Those of you with the PMDG DC6, Nick just reminded me there was an update to the DC6 yesterday, or overnight. So do check that out, another one. Some code tweaks, some changes. We're still expecting that PMDG 737 update as well, coming very soon. Hopefully by the end of the weekend coming, actually, so who knows, it could come today. There's the strobes. If I zoom in, you can see them. But then you zoom out a little bit, you can't see them. So yeah, a couple of things I'd like to see improved with the Fenix. It's not absolutely perfect. Certainly the PMDG 737 seems to be a bit more polished. That's one of my bugbears as well. They need to sort that out. They need to sort that out. And then if you look at the wing gates, it's almost like it's washing out and creating a second set of wing gates. It's weird, very weird. I don't know, are other people seeing the same thing when they fly their Fenix A320, or is it just me and perhaps my setup? Danny, well, the A320 Neo's got more like LED linked sort of systems and things, so the lights and things certainly are a lot brighter on the Flava Wires systems because it's on Neo. Nick's got the same with all the heat blur and stuff that we were just showing as well. Odd, isn't it? But overall, as a general package, I don't mind that sort of stuff when the aeroplane is pretty good. Quite a few people saying it's the same as well. Is it a known issue on their Discord? I don't know if people have actually reported it as something that needs sorting or not. VLAR pilot can see his strobes from a distance. How strange. Greg was trying to get screenshots yesterday externally and had 2 APUs. Maybe if you turn them both on, you get extra thrust. Indeed, Neil. Indeed. But this is great for what it is anyway. 993 nautical miles to go. We don't know what the weather is really doing at the island of Pico, because it doesn't have a local sort of METAR station available for it. I think, was it Horta? It's the one we need to use. So METAR LPHR. That's showing winds 190 at 5 knots, few clouds at 300 feet, broken 3000. But it's showing very saturated air as well, 19 degrees Celsius, dew point 18 degrees Celsius, so we can expect low visibility, or at least reducing visibility if it stays that way. QNH 1022. Lolo wants to see the Azores livery again. There you go, we've just been outside, but there you go, welcome. If you're just tuning in, that's what we're in today. Islam, I don't think you can. Ibrahim, anti-ice, we don't need it at the moment. We might need it into descent, depends on the weather. Keep smashing that like button, folks, while you're here as well. And if you are tuning in for the first time, welcome, welcome. Please do subscribe. DC, I'm so happy with PMDG because they release updates so fast. Sad face. Well, they release updates when they're ready. There's a lot of polish going into the sort of the update that's coming to us very soon. So PMDG need credit for that. They don't just push an update just to push an update. They will release it when they are satisfied that it's ready, basically, because they don't want to release an update and then have to update it with a hotfix. Cough Asobo. I mean, I've always been an Airbus guy, but the PMDG 737 has completely changed my mind. I love the more pilot involvement from it, and it can certainly make you sweat at times as well, like yesterday. Zato, good stuff. Yeah, we like to see the achievement. Got to get the Pico achievement if we're flying this far. The Osprey Pico achievement. Made it specially for today as well. Be sad if you don't get it. Minimums for an NDB approach runway 27 is 1,000 feet. Oh, sorry, corrections. Category C aircraft, CFDA 1,020 feet. DC is asking, do you use GPU, CPU, or iGPU for rendering in the Fenix app? So, I don't really... I don't really agree with the whole iGPU thing, because somebody explained it to me the other day in the Discord server, but you've got to go into some Windows registry or something and unlock something in Windows. It sounds like a pain in the backside, so I don't want to touch anything like that. Understandably so. I'll probably break it. I've tried CPU and I get really awful stutters with that, but I've got it on GPU instead. That said, now we've got away from the scenery, we are capped quite happily at 35 frames per second anyway, so performance definitely does seem smoother. Even on the ground when we were getting 28 frames per second, it was a lot smoother. Still not silky PMDG 737 levels of performance, but it is up there. And I think so far from what we've had on pushback, start and everything like that, I do think it is a bit better than their release package. Well, Beeline Pilot, I think MDG did have to kind of start from scratch. So even if they've brought the model across, they've had to tweak and do a lot of stuff. They've basically had to, and they've said it themselves, they've had to recreate the 737 entirely for MSFS. And they've then had to create it and then port it into P3D to use their debugging tools they've got for that, whilst they create debugging tools for MSFS. So they're doing things differently to the way Fenix do, but obviously as well, Fenix are using ProSim, so a lot of the simulation elements of it, I think, are done elsewhere, by the sounds of it, as I understand it at least anyway. Lolo wants to fly on VATSIM, but on a medium PC. Any advice? Well, what would you define as a medium PC? What are your specs, Lolo? Big Jackers Gaming, g'day to you, welcome. Night Shepherd's got his frames also nice and steady, capped at 35 too. That's good to hear. Sounds like quite a few people are also sorting a few, enjoying a little bit of an improvement there. Badger's doing the Tour de Route Osprey Airways achievement tour. Very nice. Davis, welcome. We are flying Azores Airlines today, off to the Azores, the islands of the Azores. John's flying this 146-200 from Just Flight right now. Very nice. Is it the Osprey World Cargo livery by any chance that was released overnight by Pere? Beautiful livery actually. There's some cargo related tweaks that they've made to it. It's very, very nice indeed. Timothy, welcome. Nothing but sea for a little while. If I show you Volanta, you can see our route for today as well. If it helps to visualize, I'll just make sure I've got these latest screenshots uploaded. There we go. It's pretty much a straight line westbound. So we departed Lisbon. Still got a few people getting out of there actually, showing hops. None of them are going up to where we are. Madeira, Frankfurt. So the last one is Rafik by the looks of it. RZO 141. Osprey 722 to Gav. Osprey 117, Night Shepherd. We've got TAP 585, Craig. Myself. TAP 496. And Zato as well, flying Osprey 2806. And our route basically takes us straight across the Atlantic Ocean, all the way across north of Ponte Delgada, which is our diversion airport. And then we're heading all the way down into that tiny little runway there on Pico. Horta, that's the airfield there, Horta, which is where we're getting our That's where we're getting our weather data from today. The nearest available open METAR. Yeah, very nice scenic approach. Weather permitting. I think the last time we flew into the Azores, we ended up with pretty nasty weather. Oridin, hello buddy, hope you're okay. So pointing out Fenix bought the logic from Poston, which cut down dev time drastically. Not really comparable. Yeah, I'd agree there. You can't compare Fenix against PMDG. They're both entirely different aircraft anyway, with a different architecture, but also very, created very differently as well, and run very differently too. They're both very, very good, but they certainly are different in themselves. Lord Jonas, can you add ILS-27 in Navigraph because I'm speechless? So, there it is. If I bring you Navigraph up here, you can see our routing is going to take us straight in over Sao Jorge, VOR 1130, or just to the east, southeast of it. There's no stars, so we're going to be coming in direct from whichever transition we're going to be using based upon the approach. So if you're using ILS-27 later in the flight, as we're working to arrive later, you want the transition via Goxus, over the train, at 5,000 feet into Orpik, and that's going to give you a 15-mile final on the glide slope at 3 degrees, all the way down to 1.3 DME, which is when you then want to make sure the autopilot's off to fly the last little bit in yourself. And there's a fairly lengthy box of missed approach procedures there too. And the minimum's 520 feet, but what I'm hoping for is the weather at Horta to be sufficient enough for us to commit to this, the NDB approach runway 27, which is going to be a little bit more tricky for us, but I like a challenge, and I've not done an NDB approach, I don't think, in the Fenix A320 yet, so it'll be interesting to see if A, I can manage it on board the aircraft, and B, if it can do it quite nicely itself as well anyway. So, simpler missed approach procedure in this instance too. It's just climb to 5,000 to Velas and hold, and there's that published hold there too. And it's based all upon the Pico NDB 420 on the frequency, and Solgi is the initial approach fix in this instance for that approach. From 5,000 at 25 miles, step down to 4.2. At 22 miles, begin the descent down at 3 degrees down to 12 miles, and the minimums in this instance for us 1,020 feet. The RVR, which is the runway visual range, 4,600 meters. Or if we end up, if the wind swivels around and we've got to land on the opposite end, 09, it's a circle to land, in which case we've got to use same minimums, 4,020, same RVR. We'll have to hand fly a bit of a circuit, downwind, base and final, around to the other side of the airfield. Because the only approaches here, if I bring up the charts list, is the ILS-27, LOC-27 and NDB-27, that is it. There's no stars. And that is the ground charts for the airfield. 1,655 metre long runway. It's only 5 stands. But there's quite a few of us flying in today, so we're just going to park where we can instead. And there's a warning there. Uncontrolled airport. Warnings of birds. Turbulence and wind shear due to rapidly raising ground very close to the airfield. Backtrack ops on 09 and 27 are forbidden for aircraft with max takeoff mass above 10 tons. These operations must be done on turning bays of each runway only. And stand Alpha 3 can't be used simultaneously with stand Alpha 4 and or Alpha 5. So basically, it's a 3-stand airfield effectively then in that case. It's going to be good. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be tough. Especially if we get wind shear. And then it'll be interesting to see how the aircraft reacts to it too. Beeline's pilot saying that the MD-82 is a big regret of mine. That one's actually lazy. Meantime, I still love the PMDG. Yeah. I'm still in the camp of refusing to buy the Mad Dog, the Leonardo Mad Dog. I think it's still way too rough around the edges. The £90, 90 UK pounds with tax included. That's a lot of money. Well, 90 euros, isn't it? It's about 75 quid for an aircraft that I'd like to see a lot of improvement on. So before I park my cash, I'm not interested. There was a lot of hype on release. Without it being particularly constructive into maybe some of the negatives that would have held back for some people wanting to purchase it, perhaps. I don't know. Moradin's flying into Portugal from Tenerife. Lovely. GCTS. Saw a crowd departing. It's good for you to join it. Sort of tune in and say hello. It's good to see you here. Zato summed up the approach perfectly there. In other words, we're screwed. Yep. Peter's on the way as well. Sundair from Casal to Jerez. Passengers loading very slowly. Very nice. And Cosmo, welcome. Good morning, Christopher. Hope you're good. As I said at the start, we have... In fact, maybe I can show you guys if I bring it up on a different browser. Where's Edge? Where does that live? Microsoft Edge, isn't it? That's why. So we go fshub.io/... Cool. There we go. So there's our map at the moment of Osprey Airways. Oh, who's that? That's Simon flying in the 737 on an Osprey Airways flight. And that's Gavin. We zoom in as well. You can see a trail of Osprey tracking on landing rate monitor there, which is really cool. And then if I just change the URL, oops. How do I find it? Can't remember what my password is. Haha, brilliant. What is my password? I don't know. Wonder if we can actually go into stats and things anyway. Search. Osprey Airways. Here we go. So there's our channel's virtual airline. There's always a way around things, isn't there? So it runs through FS Hub and the landing rate monitor, or a landing rate manager. And you can see our average statistics. It pulls all of our flights up, and we've already done since January. When did we start this? February 2022 the airline started on FS Hub. Almost 1,700 flights and almost 1 million nautical miles total distance, which is insane. And we've still managed to keep the landing rate down to 338 foot per minute. And this month, 534 flights spanning over 300,000 nautical miles and 846 hours of flight time, which is insanely cool. There's a load of screenshots from people who have flown along as well. Where is... Not going to let us view things without logging in, is it? So let me just... Password's hidden, thankfully, though, so we are okay. Just check something here. On Google. Search passwords. Oh, that's why. God, I was never going to get that. It was a Chrome specific auto-generated one. Alright, well I've got it now. Let's log in. Done. So the new crew portal's live effectively. There's our routing so far, and if I go to well, it's new, it's very new, this is. My Airlines. Open crew portal, here we go, right. To go to the achievements manager, we've now got butter achievement, which is this one. If you can land less than 90 foot per minute with a route flown over 300 nautical miles, you'll get the butter achievement given to you. We've got Eurovision tours, loads of legs there, 16 legs, and 10 legs across the Greek islands, which is beautiful. Really, really nice. We've got an arrival into Bergen for an achievement, and then we've now got new 10-leg US tour. We've got a Mount Cook achievement, and we've now, as of yesterday, got an 8-leg tour Australia route, and a 6-leg tour of the Azores, as well as a specific achievement for today, which is Pico. Minimum distance flight of 150 nautical miles, and we've got to get a nice smooth touchdown into Pico as well to get the achievement, and that is also going to form part of the Azores tour, which is this. 6 airports: Pico, Horta, Ponta Delgada, Graciosa, Santa Maria and Flores. And you tick all of those off and you'll get the Azores tour achievement. We've got Tour de Rue, couple of legs spanning Sydney all the way around clockwise back to Canberra. So we're working away at trying to create a lot of really cool stuff, and to go with the brand new Anchorage scenery that's been released by Aerosoft today, or Sim Wings I should say rather. We've got a an achievement for departing Anchorage as well, with a link to the Sim Wings scenery if you've not got it already, just to sort of celebrate that release. So very cool. Hopefully you find all of that really enjoyable. Certainly keeps you guys busy, those of you who fly for Osprey Airways as well. Doc has created a number of Asia tours. Good grief, have you got the thumbnails and stuff ready? Avsim, well, you requested a Eurovision tour, I believe, and I've created one. You've got to fly it. I expect you to be the first to complete it. There's Gunty, Bavas, Regla, LM, Solgi. So I've got Solgi in as a transition because I want to do the NDB 27 approach, because it's going to be really tough. But the one thing we might need to do is just check to make sure all the data's correct. So we can see there it says Solgi 250 flight level 61. And actually we want to be at Solgi at 5,000. And if we're going to be at 5,000 at that point, I'm going to be about 180 knots I want to be, I think. So we can add our own constraint in. CQ27. Eco at 612. Oops, don't want to overfly. I want to clear the discontinuity. There we go. That's the approach done. Nice and easy. Japan tour is included in one of the Asia tours. Fantastic. That's one I really want to do. I did want to get the Japan tour sorted out. What's the transition? Solgi. Where's SOLGI? 684 miles to go for that one. There we go, there's the cabin. I've not seen that today. I've not got the improvement light mod thing on it, but I might download that soon, because it does look pretty cool, doesn't it? There we go. Jay says, hey, so my MSFS starts to work again. I'm about to get in the Fenix. I heard there's a performance update which makes it so much better, I can't wait. I've only noticed a very, very, very small improvement to performance, really, personally, on my system. Lolo's asking, is the 737 easier to learn than the BA146? There's less to learn on the 146, if that makes sense. But you've got to manage the throttle at all times. And you've got to have there's a bit of a funky startup sequence to get it all on and working. But it's all good. Once you learn that, easy peasy. The rest is, thanks to the working title, FMS, nice and simple for SimBrief imports and things. Shamrock, yes. Well, actually, yesterday's approach programming was a little better, but it was that last little red herring we got thrown as we were pretty much entering the star. We had the change of star, which made a right mess. In hindsight, I was saying in the club lounge with the channel members yesterday, in hindsight, what we should have really have probably done is just said to ATC, enable request vectors, and that's it. Then it would have just solved the problem. Oliver, welcome. Good to have you here. Paul's asking, will I be getting the 737-600 or will I wait for the 800 variant in early August? Very good question. I'm hoping I'll be able to see two of those, both of them. Moradin. So I used to call it Phoenix, but then I was in a voice chat, or a video chat, sorry, with 3 of the developers on release day, sorting out a couple of little things, and they kept calling it Fenix, which confused me a little bit. Then I figured if they're calling it Fenix, I might as well just call it Fenix as well. I don't know what's correct though. I don't know. Could be Phoenix. I'm going to stick with Fenix though for now. Until a developer shouts at me. I'd imagine, you know, you guys know what my pronunciation is like anyway. I'm bearing in mind I'm copying a couple of others that have been referring to it as Fenix for some time. They could have been saying it wrong all along, and I've just gone along with it and become incorrect. Who knows? Exactly, Moradin. Yeah, Wojtek, absolutely. Jan's just finished a flight to Stansted in the 737-700. Very nice. How are you getting on with it? Oliver, random question. What aircraft or livery is the most appealing and you really like, simulator or real life? That's a big one. Simulator, Osprey Airways, obviously. I'll probably say the Osprey Airways 737 World Cargo livery. I think that looks absolutely splendid. And then similarly with that as well, the retro BA146 cargo liveries from Pade. I think both of those are just absolutely exquisite. Real life favourite livery though. Ooh. Aside from British Airways. I'm going to go old school. I'm going to say something like Britannia Airways. Ian, do I use Rex weather? No, I don't, buddy. I've got just default MSFS live weather on. Oliver says, I really enjoy you more than any flight simulator. The only thing is, every stream is really early morning for you. Well, grab a coffee. It's good to have you here. Thank you very much for your kind words. Paul's just completed his flight in the Headwind A330 as well. It's that's just not long been updated again, hasn't it? And it's coming along really nicely for basically one person trying to integrate a lot of funky stuff into an A330. I'm trying to think what would be my favourite livery on an aeroplane. I like the BA Better World blue livery on the A320. I think that's quite cool. Not sure. Soft, hello to you. Sorry about the tax confusing. I thought you were another... That's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Thanks for providing ATC on the ground. It's really appreciated. I figured your taxi clearance was just conditional on Max in the Welling taxiing anyway, so all good. Oliver's going for Southwest. Actually, they do have a good livery, don't they? A lot of European airlines are going quite samey, aren't they? They're going quite similar, so they're all beginning to look the same across Europe. Aegean, Lufthansa, Brussels, Eurowings, they're all kind of very similar looking, aren't they? The way they're all designed. I like the new Scandinavian livery, that's pretty neat. Yeah, I can't nail down what my favourite real-life livery would be, actually. Some of the retros were always good. You know, Monarch, or Landor on the 747-400 was always absolutely stunning to see. TUI's a good one to see. Usually it reminds you of holidays, doesn't it, when you see a TUI aircraft flying along. Very true beeline pilot. Brussels did fly in with, is it the Smurf livery the other day, and then the Tomorrowland one I think was in Heathrow recently too. Hintin, that's the one I saw the other day as well, and I think Magritte was in as well. Danny likes the KLM Orange Pride on the 777. Keep smashing that like button, folks, as well. See if we can double the likes up towards 100. And if you are new, do tickle the subscribe button as well. Join us as a blue frequent flyer, aka subscriber. Ergy likes the Trade Air livery. I'd never even heard of them until yesterday. Still not convinced they're a real airline. Lolo, which one? The Etihad livery or 787, the sort of standard one, or the Greenliner? Yeah, Shamrock, don't want to hit that one too much. Oh yes, the ANA R2D2 livery on the 777, that's fantastic. But yeah, that's that flew in 2 days ago into London Heathrow and departed yesterday. Very cool. Sadly, I'd finished night shift on the morning that it was due to arrive, so I've not actually been able to see it. Of all the times it was flying in, hopefully it will come back to Heathrow in the near future. Beeline pilot, yeah, so 7 stands technically in Pico, but actually stand 3, 4 and 5 are pretty much in the same place. So stand 4 and 5 for small jets, meaning stand 3 can't be used, or stand 3 gets used and 4 and 5 can't be used. So we're just going to have to all try and park. It's like the parking game, the car parking games you get on the phone. We basically have to try and park our aircraft as best as we can to fill up the to fill up that very small apron in Pico. With 7 of us. over double the capacity of the airport, about to fly in all at once. Brilliant. Don't let me forget as well, as we do fly in, need to make sure I've got Sky Dolly fired up so that we can replay our landing as well. Hopefully it'll be nice and scenic. Certainly the airport's a very nice scenery. If you've not seen it already, the handmade eco scenery is part of the World Update, Portugal and Spain. In MSFS is very, very, very nice. What we need is the self-driving PMDG tug with Night Shepherd. That's what we need. So we can drive the tug around. I've got to say, I quite like the Fiji Airways livery. I think that's quite cool for a modern style. Also, that sort of really tough, nicely detailed tail. But the ANA 787, I think for me is probably one of my favourites. That, along with SAS, Scandinavian Air Service, and BA's Better World A320 Special as well. You know what, actually? Knock Air. How about that? All those various liveries from Knock Air. That's fantastic. And actually, we need to fly Knock Air soon in the sim. So, Doc, that could be the next one for us, buddy. How does that sound? We could do a Knock Air service from somewhere to somewhere else with some pog scenery. Oh, actually, yeah, and we need to do that. We need to do the new Anchorage scenery too. We need to do an Alaska World Cargo livery or Alaska Cargo livery through that. Wojtek's favourite, Vietnam Airlines. Yeah, that's quite a cool, classy livery actually, isn't it? Very premium looking as well, very clean. Doc says, what makes you like Knock Air? I think it's just quite a funky, it looks like a duck, isn't it? I can't remember what bird it's supposed to be. It's like a duck or something painted on the plane. I think it's quite cool. Paul, good night, buddy. Cocolado likes the MD-82 with the Alitalia old school livery. It's a good match actually, isn't it, for that aeroplane? That's where the chat becomes more advanced, because you then have to split what your favourite livery is based upon the aircraft. So 747-400 for me would hands down be Landor. And then for 757 it's got to be old school, got to be like you know, Britannia Airways or something. Ashley, good afternoon. How are you doing? Oh yes, by the way, Matthew F, thank you very much. Overnight purchased a Spiral notebook, an Osprey Operations notepad, and one of the Osprey stickers as well via our Etsy store. Thank you very much. Hopefully they'll be on their way to you very soon. John's taxiing, fantastic. Do a cost index of 100. See if you can catch up to us. Ride that speed tape. There's our ETP. Equal equidistant sort of time point. Basically, that's our 50% of the way there point. Equal time between our arrival and our departure airports. And yeah, it's very unique with their liveries, aren't they? Oh, Matthew, good shout. In fact, I've got 3 here at the moment. I might stick one on my Velocity 1 flight as well. I've got 3 and I've left them in the bag thinking, I don't know where to put them. Nick, no worries buddy, thank you very much for tuning in, have a good day. Oh yeah. There we go. My sticker is on. My Turtle Beach Velocity 1 yoke mount. That TCAS. No. For that for a wind, 42 knots. So it's probably a crosswind of about 10 knots though, thankfully, which is pretty cool. Matthew says, if I fill the notebook with VATS in flights, I might be able to get better at the DC-6. Fenix and 737 have to complete the US tour. Very nice. Dougal, hello mate, how are you? How's your health? Been a little while since I've seen you in the live chat. I think I remember you saying a little while ago you weren't particularly well at the time, so hopefully you're feeling better now. Oh my god, zoom. I'm not on point with that today. Dougal, yeah, enjoying the Fenix A320, absolutely, yeah, thanks for asking. Hopefully you are too if you're using it. LCFC fans, welcome. Sometimes when I'm flying, my PFD randomly turns off. Sometimes, am I don't sometimes wrong? Or is it a bug? Oh, have you done something wrong, or is it a bug? It depends on what's happening when it goes off, I guess. If it's the Fenix A320, is the Fenix program still running, or is it all just switching off? John McKenzie, welcome. Dougal, good to hear, good to hear. And Jeff, welcome. John, hello to you. There is a TCAS on the screen. I can see it on the display there. Beeline pilot just said, yeah, I just lost it as well. On my side, it's gone. What, your PFD? Have you clicked it to pop it out? I don't know how you'd put it back if you have. I know when I sort of hover over it, I've got that clicky thumbprint button. But I don't click it because I'll probably break it. I've got a habit of that. Track history of breaking stuff in the sim. Can't help myself. GD got a message from the company telling me off for signing into ACAS if I did not intend to use the messaging system. Good stuff. Simon, good afternoon. Great to catch you live. Good for you to be here. Good for you to be able to sort of catch us today as well. Usually working. Really enjoy the streams. Welcome. If it's your first live stream that you've managed to catch, it's good. Great to have you here. And it's good to hear you enjoying it as well. How are you getting on with either the Fenix A320 or the PMDG 737, Simon? Are you getting on with them pretty well? Same question, I guess, for the Just Flight 146, if you have that. Dave, hello to you, welcome. Oh, LCFC fans, it's the standard default A320 that you're having a problem with then, if that's the case. Do you have any sort of problems with, do you have any add-ons that are supposed to improve the A320? Because if you do, you might probably need to delete them. There might be some sort of, it sounds like a mod clash from back in the early days of MSFS when we were sort of tinkering and improving through the fly-by-wire, the early days of that. Every now and again we'd get mod clashes and it would break the systems. Jay's asking, do I use PackX? He's bought it and I don't really seem to use it, so no, I haven't bothered purchasing that. There is a freeware version, or freeware option I should say, created by the Luke Air Tool, lukeairtool.net, and it basically does the same thing, and that's also the same program I use to create my, or to run those sort of cabin announcements that you hear when you hear the safety demonstration playing in the background. That's through the Luke Air Tool as well, but within that program you get something called PackSim, and it goes through the boarding process and everything else, similar to PackX, but it's completely free to use. Simon, wow, got all three aircraft, the Fenix 320, the PMDG 737 and the Just Flight 146, and really enjoy them all. It's a great time to be a flight simmer indeed. All three, in fact, very unique and very, very good at what they do. Certainly offer nice options for us, doesn't it? A lot of variety now as well. 5980, ETP. Pilot brief. Yeah, LCFC, if you've got PC, try, if you can, to get the Blabberwire latest experimental branch on your PC via their installer, and you'll find it's a very, very nice experience by comparison. Certainly a lot more detailed and very immersive. If you're on Xbox, though, I don't think it's on there anymore. Lency's next, which is there. So at Lency, it reckons we're going to have about 4.6 tons of fuel on. Beeline, yeah, just down here, that. And then what you can do is you can do the window blinds, as we found out recently. That. Jay, you should probably be able to, yeah. John's loving the sounds of the Fenix. Takeoff especially is great, isn't it? That tinny roar that you get from the CFMs. Night Shepherd's flying the Blabberwire A320 himself for today's flight too. William, hello to you, asking how good is the Asobo handcrafted Pico Airport is, the one that came with World Update 8. So you'll find out towards the end of today. It's actually quite nice. I think, I might be wrong, I think it was Gaia Simulations that created it. But it is very nice. The terminal building looks fantastic. It's such a random remote place that you could easily not even know it's there, or even realise that it's an Asobo handcrafted airport included in a World Update. In fact, I mean, I was the same. Oh, hello, look at that, we've got one flying over. Let's go to drone cam quick. Who's that? Awesome. Going the opposite direction. William, so when it adds the IAE engines, it won't become a Neo. It'll still remain as this version, basically the CEO. But it's just the other engine option that a lot of airlines globally chose instead. Oh, Doc, that's the person that prevented me actually connecting with my call sign that I was intending to use. Brilliant. Send him a little dot chat. You can come back here. There we go, clicky clicky. Saying like, how should I put the keybinds? The in-game doesn't have any. So you need to just go into your menu option, and when you're sort of in the world menu, or if you've already spawned in, you press escape, you have that menu pop up. Go to controls, and you then want to go and find your keyboard keybinds. Change the filter from assign to all, so you can see all of them that are included. Find what you want, and then just set the keybind that way. Jeff, how's the Fenix update been treating you? Very nice so far. I noticed the Fenix program didn't load for me though when I spawned in, so I had to run it manually. But that's an issue that I think we're always going to have, because it has to run that independent, separate program just to get it to verify that it's not a ripped copy. And yeah, it's the only bugbear of mine, I think, from this, is that extra program. I get why they've done it, but if it doesn't work properly, it could be a bit of a pain in the backside. But otherwise it's very nice. Maybe 1 to 2 frames per second better for me. That's all. So performance wise, when they say there's been performance upgrades, I've not really experienced it, to be honest. Send out the F-18s, yeah. Wow, Dougal, fantastic. See, I prefer the 737 just because there's a bit more involvement from me as a pilot. I don't know. Personal preference though, isn't it? Some people are just pure Airbus, some people are pure Boeing. I like the blend of the two. Jeff, yeah, mine was going through a habit of usually starting okay. Perhaps it's just because of the update. Perhaps we have updated the aircraft add-on, so it just needs to be booted in so that it refreshes the XML. John used toolbar pushback and was fine. Oh, that's good. Perhaps it's time for me to put that back into my folder then, just take the risk. .494 to Solgi. Look at that, loads of fuel on board, estimated at Pico. 2 tons left. Jay's an Airbus guy, just waiting for that A380. That's a long, long way away though, that is. I would expect that mid-2023 if it does ever arrive. Ashley's never had any problems either, so why are they telling people to not use it and uninstall it then? I mean, it works fine with every other aircraft that I've got as well, but I'm just sort of going along their advice of not using with it with the Fenix. There's the expected weather into Pico. 300 degrees at 6 knots, variable between 260 and 360. All the 9s, few clouds 2000. Scattered at 3,400. And temperatures of 18 degrees, dew point 10 and QNH 1021. And then it's showing remarks, wind, runway 9, 320 at 8, runway 27, 310 at 8. So that'll be winds at the threshold by the looks of it. And there's our alternate, which actually isn't Ponta Delgado, it's La Haye Air Base. Pico, no TAMS. And then the other one's an airbase. After today, the next live stream is going to be Thursday, I think. Basically, I'm back to work for 2 days from tomorrow. And then I'm going away for a couple of days on a little sort of staycation. Zato, check your weather station's LPHR for Horta, which is the next nearest. That's showing winds 170 at 6 at the moment though. And that beep is the pilot telling me no weather profile at Porter exists. Not Porter. Pico. Blending the two there, Horta and Pico together. Next week we'll check out the PMDG 737 update when it comes. I'm hoping I'll be able to bring you guys some 600 content previews as well, nearer to release for the 737-600. We'll see how that goes too. And we need to visit the new Simwings Anchorage Airport as well, PANC. It's just been released via the Aerosoft store, and that looks remarkably cool. Very unique place as well, so looking forward to that. And then we need to do some Asian ops as well in the Far East. Been a little while since we've flown around there. Perhaps it'll be Japan or something similar. 737-700 update. So PMDG on the forums have been talking about releasing one for a couple of weeks now. They're just finishing off tweaks to code changes and some various improvements to the aeroplane as well. Don't think the EFB is going to be seen yet, Peter. They're still finalising a few bits. I think the EFB is going to be released nearer to sort of end of July, start of August with the maybe with the 737-800. At a guess. I think their flagship product is probably going to be the 737-800, isn't it, when it does come? So logically in my head, I'd like to think that the EFB will arrive when that comes as well. They'll certainly probably want it polished and ready by then, that's for sure. Jeff's done a Windows open takeoff in the Fenix. It's a bit louder and you get a cabin pressure warning at altitude. Other than that, underwhelming. No chaos of things blowing around the flight deck and all sorts of stuff going on either then. Or indeed, fun fact, in a rapid depressurization, that is actually a... actually, that's not modelled quite right, I don't think. There are panels. Yeah, there should be some panels on the door during an explosive depressurization or something like that. The panels will actually open slightly to stabilise the pressure between the cabin and the flight deck, if the cabin has still got pressure, for example. John, oh yeah, you could do, couldn't you? Switch it around to like a 200 knot tailwind. How about that? You'll be catching us in no time. Probably the world's fastest flight to Pico as well. Cosmo, yes, Sim Update 10, that's when the weather radar API will be released, and the terrain radar as well. API data will be released to developers, so they'll be able to create accurate weather data and terrain maps in their aircraft. So that's going to be a huge update that we'll then be able to enjoy probably sometime after that with PMDG 737 and the Fenix A320 and everything else waiting for it too. Aerosoft CRJ is another one waiting for the weather and terrain data API. Lola says, just want to say thank you so much for your 737-700 tutorial. I'm now on my way to Tenerife. Fantastic. Good to hear that you found it useful. Hopefully you've found the checklist handy as well that we created. Night Shepherd's going to be all over the 737-800 like a fat kid on a cupcake when it releases. Look at that for crosswind now. 74 knots, 45 degrees across the aircraft, so 35 knot crosswind roughly. When you can see how much we're crabbing there into wind. Our heading is 282, but the track of the aircraft is 274, so we're almost 10 degrees drift, sort of wind correction angle, about 8 degrees, which is huge. William's asking, ever flown into LIMF? That, which one's that one? Turin? No, I haven't actually. It is on the list. It is on the list. Aviation Simulation's been pestering me to do that because obviously there was the host of the Eurovision contest and he wants me to fly into there. So Turin is on the list, that's sure. That's the one, Beeline Pilot. Yeah, BA and Virgin, didn't they? Ended up racing, completing in insanely quick times for subsonic aircraft. Was asking how long till descent, so we're about halfway there. Probably suggest about 45 minutes before we begin descent, 40 minutes before top of descent roughly. We've got 1 hour, just under 1 hour 10 to go, 450 nautical miles. Quite a good variety of weather then, if that's the case, William. Mountains and stuff giving a nice skiing season in the winter and then red hot summers. There you go, exactly halfway there, just past the ETP. $65 likes so far, folks. Thank you very much. Beeline Pilot is asking what my ground speed is. 402 knots. There you go. True speed of 448. Alberto, good morning. It's flying between Santiago and Lima with a headwind of 109 knots. Good grief, that's huge. 399 ground speed for Beeline. Oh yeah, that's pretty negligible, isn't it? Shouldn't be catching you too much then. Oh, headwind of 109, that's mega. Albert says we're in the middle of a big storm in the area right now. You know what? I need to storm chase in the sim, really. I need to do a stream where we find some of the most horrendous weather to fly through and then put the aeroplanes through their paces, see what they do. Not necessarily like fly through a hurricane, but fly around it. You're still going to get significant weather around it. John's got a ground speed of 5.77. Good grief. Beeline Pilot, have you considered doing duo streams with other YouTubers? So, I have, but all of the experiences of dual controls and things, shared cockpit, have just been really bad. So I just don't... I've written it off completely. I just avoid it now. Storm add-on, well, you can just go onto Twitter and search for, there's a feed, I can't remember what it is now. There's basically a Twitter bot on Twitter. I think it links maybe to a website and it will give you some of the most significant weather in the world related to aviation. So all you've got to do is find a place and then build that into a route. Job done. But I wouldn't worry about, I mean, there's that storm add-on that everybody is talking about at the moment, from the owners of FS Elite, SoFly. So SoFly and FS Elite and a couple of others are all basically the same thing. Yeah, I've not tried the Storm add-on. Do we need it? I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, I don't think. You could just find the live weather online instead. But as Ashley's pointing out there, you can use historic hurricanes as well, and that's quite a cool feature. Let's find it. I've got to try and find this extreme weather now. Live storm chasers. That's going to be people actually doing it, isn't it? Oh, that's live streams. Can't remember where it is now. There's basically a website you can find, or something on Twitter. But I might need to try and work out what it is. Night Shepherd's flown through some light storms with real-time weather in Australia. Flights have done, but nothing too crazy. I remember VATSIM put something on ages ago, didn't they? And it was a link to something. Let me find it on Twitter actually then, because I replied to that and I said challenge accepted. Then I never got round to it. Whoops. I go on profile, tweets and replies. I remember it was a ruddy long time ago. Certainly last year. Ah, found it. Badweather.com. There you go, and you'll find then the most ruthless conditions available right now. So if I go on it, badweather.com. If you want winds, gusts, bad visibility, rain, low temperature, high temperature, thunderstorms, or snow. So if I put gusts, Norilsk in Russia, LTFD in Turkey, Edremit, Paros Island in Greece, and Daggett US are the worst at the moment. What else have we got? A couple in Canada. Athens currently experiencing gusts of 30 knots, sorry. And Innsbruck too. We go to high wind. Oh my god, here we go. You want to fly into Kilo Echo Uniform Foxtrot, Eufaula, Wiedenfeld in United States. The wind knots at the moment are showing us 200 knots. That can't be correct. San Pedro, 34 knots. Quite a calm day, but you can pretty much click through that website, badweather.com. Let me put it in the live chat so you guys can make a note of it. So, do you need SoFly Storm for that? Just go on that weather and find it on that website. Just actually get the correct link for you because I've not put it in correctly. There you go. Badweather.com. If I go into thunderstorms, let's see what the Bangalore in India at the moment, winds 18 knots, gusting 28 knots, visibility of 2.4 statute miles, and the weather at the moment showing light thunderstorms and rain, visibility of 4,000, cumulonimbus, temporary 3,000 meters in light thunderstorms and rain. Manch County, they've got winds 260 at 10, gusting 22 knots, and thunderstorms, TSMM. Thunderstorms and... God, I'm trying to remember my METAR codes now. Basically poo weather. Carnarvon in the UK. Vicinity thunderstorms. This is a cool website. Almaty as well in it's Azerbaijan, isn't it? Bakazato's now interested in a storm chasing group flight. Desperately flying a 737 into it and see if it survives. It has to be a cargo version, surely. There you go, it saved you purchasing an add-on you don't need. How's that? Badweather.com. I knew it was a weird name, but I just couldn't remember for the life of me. It was March 2021 that I last tweeted Vatsim about that. Mark, hello buddy. TBS is in the house. Almaty, Kazakhstan, there we go. Last man standing challenge. Aircraft stress damage set on as well, perhaps. I think the sim would just go near it and just break, wouldn't it? Regular with our top of descent coming up in just over 240 nautical miles. What's that descent going to be? It's going to be around about there, 280ish, isn't it? And we can mark the 250 point there. Approach speed's 134. There we go, so I've set those ready. Minimums are about 1,000, aren't they? So let's look around some of these manual bits here. Cosmo would like to do a Hurricane Hunter run in the Caribbean. That would be cool, wouldn't it? During hurricane season. 1020, isn't it? So it's about there, and runway elevation is 100 feet. There we go. That'll do. That's the manual instruments, the old school gauges sorted. And then the rest we'll do nearer towards top of descents. We've just passed Lengi, 5.16 on the fuel. Lensi rather, 4.6 was estimated. So we've got about 600 kilos more than we need at the moment. No meta. Not quite sure what to expect from this approach today. It's going to be quite challenging, I think, but we'll see how we go. Mark, yeah. I mean, that would be fun. Even just flying it in a Spitfire would be quite cool. Ryan Videos, hello to you. Asking, is the Hoppy ACAS system set up the same way as Fly-by-Wire? Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. So you want to make sure, instead of putting it into the EFB, your Hoppy login details will go into the Fenix program that you run, that runs externally outside the sim to make the airplane work. So inside there, one of those options is going to be Hoppy's ACAS login, and you want to put your code into that. Ashley, yes. Quite difficult, right? Especially in an A320. In fact, let's see what our estimates would be for our approach. Runway 27, there's no weather data, but we can use Horta and we can actually put it in manually. So LP 180 at 7. My god, at this rate we're going to be doing a circling approach onto the other runway. Temperature 19 and the QNH 1021. Estimated landing weight. Oh, now there's a question. It's in this one, isn't it? On a brief. 59.6. I'm going to say 60.6, I think. because it doesn't quite burn as much. Low auto brake, medium auto brake's going to go. So there we go. So if we do low auto brake, you can see there we've gone straight off the runway. We've got a complete 7-knot crosswind across the runway as well. So at the moment we are fine from runway 27. We go to medium auto brake. Oh, hold on, we go max reverse as well. 1433. Full flat manual landing, auto thrust on. We go max manual braking, 1,103 meters. So, the question is, I mean, that looks like it's based upon touchdown from the beginning of the runway. So we're going to use 1,433 meters left of the runway. It's basically going to give us about 100 left. So I think in that instance we're going to need max manual braking, aren't we? Or yeah, because medium auto brake is the most we can do, unless it's an RTO. Basically, we're going to use the whole runway. We're barely going to stop, I think. Good grief, this is going to be tight. Because during this, basically, those of you getting used to the Airbus, for takeoff you can select max auto brake for rejected takeoff purposes, but after takeoff you cannot select that again. You can only select medium as maximum auto brake limit. Beyond that, it's down to the pilot to apply maximum brakes. So we'll select medium auto brake for arrival, but very quickly I think I'll probably be going on to manual braking myself. A little fun fact for you, if you are getting used to the Airbus. Flight Force, it's your hometown, fantastic. Very cool place to live, very remote. Got a big old train of planes going towards, keep wanting to say Horta. Pico, that's where we're going. Good grief, I better land at the right airport. Parks alerted the airfield fire and rescue crew at Pico, prepared for a hot brakes incident, asked for delayed taxi to stand. We'll be, well, if it all goes wrong, the water on the other side will probably sort out the hot brakes. Interesting, Night Shepherd's got different deceleration figures on the fly-by-wire A320X, being the Neo as well. You'd think that'd probably stop quicker. Max manual braking of 1271 for the Night Shepherd. The other question is then, do we have carbon brakes? Or do we have standard brakes? Because they're going to wear. That would be the next issue. We'll have brake fades. Well, at least, I don't know if it's simulated in this, but at least the PMDG 737, if you've got ceramic brakes, you will get brake fade as well. So they'll become less effective the hotter they get. Therefore, that'll then extend your braking as well to the point where they become almost useless. Bakazato is going to be using the parking brake for landing at the airport. 245 feet for the arrow. Nice work. There we are. The airport's now on our 320 max range display on the nav. Delgado is all the way down there somewhere. We'll see it potentially through the cloud. I think the last time we flew to this side of the world, I think we flew to Horta actually, but I distinctly remember seeing just tons of cloud and we didn't actually see Ponta Delgado at all. And actually I think I remember flying over this airfield that we're going into today, Pico, thinking, good grief, that's a tiny airport. Porter was a very good, very cool approach. Gav's got 1,090 feet or meters, sorry, on the max braking for the 737. Oh, Mark, yeah, nice. Was there any scenery for Horta, Ashley? I think, was it on flightsim.to? There might have been a Horta scenery, I believe. I feel like I remember there was some sort of scenery involved, but I can't think off the top of my head. Mark, here we go. Oh, Sky Guru, brackets Luke, which plane do I need to purchase? I've not bought anything since the Warrior. Whoa. Big question. The thing is, what are you going to prefer? Are you going to prefer the Fenix A320, or are you quite happy with the Flabberwatt A320X as it is? Are you going to love some retro Whisperjet ops in the BA146? Then you can perhaps do some RAF flights in and out of Northolt and things like that, perhaps. You know, raw flights. Or would you really like the PMDG 737? I think it's tough to choose between the three. Certainly, I think I'll angle more towards the PMDG 737. There's more to learn, more to do. Maybe the same with the 146. So potentially one of those two. But if you just want simplicity and familiarity, You could always go for the trusty Airbus. Bavas in about 60. So what's our fuel load estimated to be there? 3.7 tons apparently. Oh, now there was a mod going back to the past, Avsim, the Mitsubishi Pajero freeware. Do you remember we did the, we had that video, me, John, William, a few others, we were racing around Gibraltar in it, from Gibraltar Airfield. That was absolute madness. Still don't know why we did it. Oh dear. Jeff, more side hustles. 4.7, look at that, we are fuel burn wise. We're coming up to a ton under, which is great, but it means then we're going to be heavier for touchdown. Mark, well, if you want more variety then I'd probably say go for the 737, unless you would be happy to wait until August for the 737-800. Mario Kart at London Heathrow, John, yes. Raced against a 747, didn't we? And the Mercedes car or something. And then we actually played Mario Kart and did a lap of Heathrow. That was absolute chaos, wasn't it? Why on earth did we do that? I have no idea. It was great fun though. It was great fun. There's our airline for today if you're just tuning in. Azores Airlines in the natural livery as well. Matthew, good morning to you. Throwing in your favourite option there. You do love the Mad Dog, don't you? And Lilo, welcome. Or Lilo, rather. I have to behave myself now. Matthew, real pilots in the house. Going on to the Twin Isles soon. Upgrading from the regional jets. Big congratulations. Ooh, Mark, yeah, you've not even got the Twin Otter, have you? Good grief, you missed out on a lot. That's a great bit of fun. And you'll then be able to do some stuff with the Falklands as well. And then for your return, nearly August time, when the 737-800 comes, that's going to be pretty remarkable, I think. So it'll be a nice timing. 2 treats. And the denim scenery, yes. You know what? Burning Blue Design have created such a remarkably detailed denim. It's really nice. I'm yet to enjoy it live with you guys, but it's such a good representation of what the airfield is in real life. And somebody pointed out something I'd actually missed in the preview video, or the first look video that I'd done the other day. There's a cake inside the crew room cafe that will disappear slice by slice as the day progresses up to near closing, when it will then disappear, and the cake will have run out. Hot crew meals, Matthew. There's a treat. That's the only reason why you wanted to switch, right? If you ever find yourself coming towards London Heathrow, you'll have to give me a little nod Matthew, and I'll come and say hello if I'm at work. If your operator, whatever that might be, takes you this way. Shamrock, yeah, done quite a few solos. I've not flown in 4 or 5, or almost 5 weeks now, I think. 5 or 6 weeks perhaps. I'll have to check my logbook. Money's, obviously the price of flying's gone up quite a bit now. It's nearer to £250 an hour in the PA28 in the UK. It's about $350 an hour roughly almost, which is insane. And I'm trying to sell and buy a house that it's pretty much right at the maximum budget that we've got, so I'm reducing the amount of flights I'm doing slightly because I'm now going into the navigation phase, and that effectively is probably the most expensive section, because a 3-hour flight will cost me almost £600. Well, over £600 now. My god, yeah, good grief. Almost 700 quid for a 3-hour flight. Holy moly. But I've only got navigation left and then a number of exams. Peter, indeed, yes. Lilo's asking, how's the Fenix A320 after the update? Are you getting more performance? So, when we departed Lisbon, I think maybe a blend of that is to do with the scenery itself not being particularly well optimised, but we were getting around 28 frames per second. What we're now looking at is pretty much locked at 35, which is nice and smooth. There's good overhead space for the graphics card to do its magic and everything else. So performance is smoother for sure, but I haven't physically seen and experienced the performance improvements myself yet. In fairness. I never noticed issues with performance before anyway, really. I just noticed sometimes it wasn't as smooth as the PMDG 737 is, and I'll probably stick with that now still. But I run my Fenix displays via my GPU. So I've selected my GPU in the options of the Fenix app, and that's where the sort of displays render from. The one thing I've done today as well is instead of choosing performance over quality, I've actually chosen the balanced mode, which is making the screens a little bit crisper, and therefore I've probably pushed the performance. I've probably removed, actually, yeah, it's probably fair for me to say, I've probably removed the performance gains by changing it to balanced instead of anything else. So I've actually demanded more from the aircraft. Now it's come with a performance improvement. So you know what, I'd probably say there has been a performance improvement because I'm able to now run the Fenix screens via my GPU on the balance mode instead of quality instead of performance, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Might just confuse myself. Who knows. Less than 80 for top descent now. Ponta Delgada is going to be sort of over there, underneath the cloud again, funnily enough. Out of view anyway. That'd be the first bit of land that we can get towards if it goes peak tong. Yeah, actually, truly cannot beat the 737 for performance. What PMDG have done with that is amazing, pure magic. John, that's my... oh, wait, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, you've got your mega tailwind. And we can't dump fuel in the Airbus, can we? You know what, John? Have you caught up yet? Because that's a landing I might want to see. Still, where is he? Osprey, 27 Juliet Mike. Oh, he's still quite a way away. Maybe run your APU, John, as well. Turn your APU on so you're burning all that extra fuel from your APU. Then you'll be running on 3 engines. Thus, should be at the top of your screen, estimated time of arrival. John, yeah, you've made mega progress. You've got to slow it down now for the arrival, that's the only thing. I mean, we're calculating a landing of around 60.6 tons, John. So if you're going to be heavier, I don't know. Let's say how many tons over do you reckon you're going to be? We'll say 63. Okay. Medium auto brake, max reverse. I'll probably go to max manual braking as well, but that suggests like you're going to be able to stop in time. Not far off different, to be honest. Yeah, there's another one. Matthew's suggestion as well. Fly lower, and therefore you end up with a higher fuel burn as well. Wow, we got all the tips. And during the descent, put yourself on max speed, sort of right next to the tape of sort of into overspeed, but deploy the speed brake like Ashley suggested as well, perhaps. Okay, right, 80 miles to top of descent. Let's go through. Let's actually, what's the time? We're on the hour now, aren't we? So we should have a new METAR for Horta, which is the next island along. Winds are 180 at 7 still. All the 9s scattered 400 feet. Oh my god, broken cloud 1,100. Sorry, scattered 1,100, broken 2,200. QNH 1022 now. Absolute madness. We're still going to try, I'm still going to commit to the challenging NDB approach, and we'll see how we go. So I'm not going to change anything, we're just going to commit and see what happens, I think. Why not? There's our current position on Navigraph. There's La Haye, which is basically our diversion as well if it goes a bit wrong. But into Porto, we're going to go for the NDB runway 27, direct in via Solgi, which is a transition. We want to be at 5,000 feet at Solgi, which is then 28.5 miles from the airfield. From the NDB, I should say. So probably about 30 miles to touchdown at that point. Solgi, 5,000 feet. 25 miles, step down to 4.2. 22 miles, then commence a 3-degree rate of descent, sort of glide path angle, down to 2,000 feet by 15, and then we should be able to sort out a nice touchdown there. And our minimums of 1,020 feet on the box for our decision altitude, or if we were using rad out, it would be 915. Category C RVR 4,600 meters. So we've already put all of that in, and there's the terrain. That is Mount Pico, 7,710 feet. The OCAH value does not take into account the CFDA-based technique. That's going to be the circle to land. So we'd have, if we were doing the circling approach to 09, we'd need to add 50 feet. For the minimums there, but we're not. We're doing a CFDA there, which is 1020 for the category C for straight and landing runway 27. And then we got the missed approach with some weird music going on in the background. It's supposed to be soft beats. Oh dear. Yeah, missed approach is going to be from the NDB, turning northbound up to Velas, 5,000 feet, and hold. And Velas is 15 DME from the Horta VOR outbound radial 065 degrees. VOR part of VOR TAC VFL and usable below 5,000. So to actually get a good reading from that, we've got to be over 5,000 or at 5,000 feet for the hold at that point to get to get an accurate reading from the Horta VOR as well. And then it's suggesting that we're going to use 1,450 or so meters of runway. So bearing in mind we've got the threshold here, the usable length of 2.7. Oh my god, here we go. So we're going to land beyond the threshold. So we're going to land with less than 1,655 meters of usable runway length. If we land beyond the glide slope though, that has suddenly become only 1,377 meters of usable runway, which is then not enough on medium auto brake and reverse thrust. So we're going to need to then apply a lot of manual brakes in that instance for a very quick stop. So it's not necessarily going to be a smooth touchdown this, because we need to, instead of going for butter, we need to go for accuracy. We need to get it down on that landing aiming point, really, that touchdown zone. We've got to be wheels down, weight on wheels, auto brake deploy, ground spoilers deployed, and max reverse green, and on the brakes very quickly. Ellie Hugh, welcome. Thanks for the like. See you next time. Yeah, the wind's certainly what I'm kind of probably going with more so than anything else is in our pilot brief here, which is the forecast. So it could be quite different, but like Ashley's pointing out, is it's the opposite side of a mountain and on another island, so the winds are going to be completely different to what we probably expect should we use the METAR into Horta as we fly into Pico. So what we want to do, weather brief, here we go. What I'm probably going to use instead is maybe this 300 at 6 as the expected wind. We might get something different, who knows. We can see there it's variable between 260 and 360. Runway 27, threshold wind 3108. So let's use that as a figure. 18 degrees Celsius, QNH 1021. But I think we'll go for 1022 now, because that matches certainly with Horta. So we'll go for the QNH change to Horta. We'll have a look at the local temperature at Horta, and that's 19, so we'll go with 19 degrees as well. So wind 3108. Top of descent coming up. There's our destination warning. 1022. Temperature 19. Mag wind, it's suggesting there 224 at 7. I'll just leave that. I'll leave that as it is. Transition level 6,000. Full flaps and approach speed 135, landing speed 130. Minimums we're going to be 1020. CFD8 included. Right, down to 5. Let's set the FCP. And we should be kind of in line with Ponta Delgada, but we can't really... Oh, there we go, that little bit of land there. Ponta Delgada. Just below the cloud. Not that we can really see it that well. And again, the big thing with this instead of the Boeing is with the Boeing you will reduce, so you go through that reset MCP altitude as it is on the checklist, and you'll set 5,000 with VNAV armed, and once you hit top of descent the aeroplane will begin to go down for you. Whereas this, the Airbus, you want to set 5,000 on the FCP, and then you want to make sure you click either up for managed mode into descent, or down for descent not in managed mode, open descent as it's called. Still got 20 miles to go. But we're pretty much ready. John, welcome. We've briefed the approach, we've briefed the missed approach. One thing I do want to check before we commit into this is the RadNav page. It's blank, so we need 420. And I might actually tune this into both here because it could come in handy depending on what happens if I do missed approach and have to join the hold. Porter 1127. So that's tuned to LM at the moment. I will leave that as it is because it should automatically select Horta. So I won't fiddle with it. And for those of you doing the ILS, you want to make sure you've got the frequency treble 1.7 input here, and make sure your course is 272 degrees. Yeah, actually it's weird, isn't it? It kind of should be the other way around, shouldn't it? We're already picking up Pico on there, that's quite cool. And the VNAV's pretty good in here as well, so you can kind of just let it manage its own descent. At default view, I wish they'd change it. I don't get on with it at all. Just a veteran, so what's the difference between open descent and managed descent? So managed descent is using the VNAV, and therefore then all this data on the right hand side of the box on the MCDU to work out your VNAV path on the descent. So it will manage your speeds for you and everything else like VNAV mode does in the Boeing 737. That's basically what managed mode is. Open descent is basically the fastest way down. So you click it, throttles would go to idle, aircraft would pitch down, and it'd be your max rate of descent. Probably the easiest way to describe the two. So before we hit top of descent, we need to set the altitude target and then press up for managed. We then get descent in the annunciator on the PFD. You see the little green ball as well, which is our VNAV path. And that little squiggle there is our VNAV path as well. So the aeroplane is trying to work out its best rate of descent to achieve that path, or reach the path and then descend with it. GD, every now and again on the Fenix I get the message initialize weights, and I'm certain I've entered all the weights. There's our little VNAV speed bucket on the right hand side as well. The aeroplane will just sort itself out. Make sure in your MCDU menu, ATSU, AOC, you've done the flight init section. And then make sure you've done this. And you want to make sure you've accepted your load sheets as well. Lola, how do you know when I'm at top of descent, please? Just done it. You have the little white top of descent arrow. Got a TCAS alert for somebody 20 miles ahead now as well. It's just popped up, and you can see there the aeroplane is trying to catch that VNAV path. So we're descending 1,000 foot per minute at the moment, around 265-ish knots, or max 77, and we're trying, well, the aeroplane's trying to keep that lower rate of descent to capture that VNAV path. So we're going to see the ball now move. There it is, as we're now almost back on the path. And once we reach that, the aeroplane should descend with it instead. In thrust we trust, Bakazato. Just a veteran says, as a Boeing fanboy and years of flying the PMDG in FSX, this Airbus looks like sorcery. Yeah, there's a lot, mega automation basically, automation 2.0. It does a lot more for you. Borgia, one question, which arrival route are we using? None. They don't have any. We're just going direct to the approach. Alberto says, whenever I use the Fenix A320, the outside of the cockpit only appears as if it were painted black. Anyone else? How do you mean? Sid Lamb, I run my displays for the Fenix on GPU, so I've selected my GPU that I've got installed, and then also stick that onto ADF1 so we get the Pico NDB when it does actually appear in range. I then select balance mode. But if then you struggle with performance, select quality instead of performance. Select performance instead of quality. But at the moment I've got it on balanced as a new change. And it's pretty much balanced out the performance optimizations that they've made. So the gains I would have had remaining on performance instead, I've now selected balanced. So I've got a little bit more of a crisper display selection. Keep smashing that like button, folks, so we get to 100 before we touch down. That would be great. And we're now into descent into Little Pico. Motion, welcome. Have I tried the latest updates of SimToolkit Pro? I have not, no. Always using Volanta, but you're saying there you like Volanta, but a few features on SimToolkit Pro always have you coming back. Perhaps it would be time for me to explore it once more and give it a little go. Got to make sure we remain 20 miles away, or well, at least over sort of 5 miles away from that guy, because they might need a backtrack. So probably nearer to 10 miles separation. Once we've faffed around with a backtrack. Let's bring Skydolly up ready, so the program's fired up at least. And now all you guys have got to do is remind me near to approach. Great. Fantastic news. And no sudden last minute changes of a star either. There is Pico Mountain, right in the centre of your screens now. That's the mountain punching through above the cloud. That's pretty cool. You can actually see the cloud forming around it and kind of shrouding it as well as we're watching that. Very cool. The weather engine in MSFS is pretty fantastic, isn't it? It's quite good. That is pretty smart boat. Alberto, I can see your comment of this is what I mean, but I can't see the image. Yeah. Ah, that's you, Beeline Pilot, up ahead. Nice stuff. You can speed up. Mountain. Alberto. Awesome. Rahan, I've not flown the Fenix A320 yet, but familiar with the fly-by-wire A320X. Anything to watch out for? I'm thinking about firing straight in. So, make sure you've got all your data correct inside your EFB within this. So making sure that you've got your correct stuff done, your ground services as required. Make sure your mass and balance is sorted as well for loading. And you want to get your load sheet, but then also calculate your takeoff performance in here, which would then sync with your final load sheet once you've completed boarding. So it's basically just making sure you've managed all of this correctly. What are we going for winds actually? Well, I've left it at 180 at 7, haven't I? Winds 19, QNH 1022 now. Gross weight 60.8. Go for 60.3. Medium auto brake's going to give us about 100 meters left. Do a stop. Tavinaris, hello to you, welcome. Kalispera, no, not sure. Not sure. That's our landing performance, by the way, folks, if you are just joining us. We're going to stop with about, if we were to stop completely and we touch down accurately near the threshold, we're looking at 100 metres, just over 100 metres left before we go off the edge. But we're not going to touch down there, we're going to touch down in the touchdown zone. So we're really, really going to be pushing it, and we'll likely need some max manual brakes as well. Through the descent, I'm just going to change this very quickly because the VNAV will recalculate itself. 1022 set. And in the box here I'm going to set 1022. So I don't forget the other bits. Now interestingly, Solgi is showing 5,000 there, but the VNAV is suggesting we're going to be beyond it, which is strange because the ball is centre. And I've set that as a specific constraint. Yeah, Doc, yeah, pretty much. You can only turn at the end of the runway on this because of our weight of the aircraft, so... Ooh, yeah. Alberto, that is weird. I've not had that. It happens in every livery. That is incredibly strange. It's almost like a livery's clashing with it. Yeah, Tavanaris, so we were discussing that a little earlier on as well. So we have to select medium auto brake. That's the max we can do. That's the most we can select post takeoff. Max braking, auto brake is only for rejected takeoffs. So we can select medium. We'll touch down, we'll wait for decel, and then we'll go into manual braking anyway. Let's refresh the overlay at the top. Into Little Pico, RZO 145. There you go. I hope so, Ashley, I hope so. This is the first time trying it in something so short. There's Mount Mountain, or yeah, Mount Mountain, or Little Pico. And the airfield is pretty much right on the nose. It looks like we're descending into quite a decent layer of cloud, which is going to be quite interesting for us. Bing. Kalisperasis, if you want to be formal in Greek. Fantastic. Kalisperasis. There's our speed limit point, so in about 20 miles we should be hitting 10,000 feet, and then we're going to slow down. And I'll probably use a bit of ground spoiler to assist with that, I think. Wise to do so. Funnily enough, this song that's playing at the moment is called Not Even Worried About It. They have no idea. Nice bit of cloud break though, look at that. So we're going over this island to begin with, and then Pico is straight over there below that layer of cloud. So I think visibility might be okay for this as we make our way in. Kalisperasis. Showing the accent on the word. I'll have to try and remember that. Kalisperasis. Love it, language lessons live on the descent. So PI is now reading, we've got that. That's the little green arrow. We don't have a DME to it though. That doesn't do anything for us. Frequency. Where has it gone? Oh, I'm on the ILS chart still. Ah, you know what? Bugger that. We don't need it. Manage, manage, manage. That's all good. What's your thoughts on cancel spree of EasyJet's having RS? Bit of a mess, isn't it? TUI as well, bit of a mess at the moment. Let's clear the ILS. In fact, I'll leave the ILS charts out just in case this visibility drops in and we can't do it. Final bits before we make our way in now. Our diversion airfield is going to be on the island that we're just about to pass up overhead. Where is it? It's here somewhere. An airbase, apparently. Or we'd have seen it. Who knows? Oh, we've got somebody outbound there. Alright. Well, we don't need the icing anymore. I thought we were going to be going through cloud. Let's just get it all off. Route 10. Light signs was required. Get a bit of flight detent. Oh, that noise. BI pilots enjoying the intense approach with wind shear and turbulence. Saying lol, the turbulence on approach is real, super cool. So it's one of the real difficult things about this airfield. There are warnings for wind shear and severe turbulence on approach because of where it is. Oh, that's Wesley. Pico traffic, Azores 145 is Airbus A320 inbound, passing flight level 100 down to 5000, QNH 1022 inbound Solgi. Direct Solgi for the NDB runway 27 approach. Currently 12 track miles eastbound from Solgi. Eco traffic. Cool.
Airport GL 406, crossing all peak rates now. We are going to localize the
Alright, let's get rid of the tunes. Doc, no, this is more difficult. I like difficulty. I like the challenge of an NDB approach. It doesn't give us an ILS, it doesn't give us LS mode, it doesn't give us anything. Bo's doing a Fly UK flight, lovely. Solgi, and then we want 242, don't we? So we'll go, I'll set 2000 on here. Very nice bow. Full route.
Pico traffic, Osprey 0, expecting number 3, turning direct Solgi, at Solgi expecting 5,000 feet, and NDB runway 27 Pico traffic.
I think now, folks, it's time to start Skytrack, don't you? Or not Skytrack, Sky Dolly. There's Mount Pico. $15 miles to touchdown, so actually I want approach mode active. That's now green. We've got the VNAV or RNAV sort of buckets, if you like, as well. I'm going to slow down to green dot speeds now. Passing Solgi. We are well above though. Bearing in mind, in 10 miles we've got to be at 4,200 feet.
Pico traffic, airport to go for 67.
Adjective company message from the ECAM Poseidon. Go to MCDU menu, ATSU AOC menu, and then you want to go to messages. View the messages. Make sure they're sort of submitted as required.
Pico traffic reducing minimum approach speed. Ospreys are out.
Lap 180. So we'll go for flaps 1. Disarm the speed brake. Look at that for wind, folks. It is jumping us around. There's our diversion airport. First glimpse of that. Military base. That's a tiny runway. Surely not. Actually, no. That's not our diversion runway. Boom, 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 boom. 15 miles. And perf page. It's actually kind of give us like a an RNAV approach almost. But like you're saying, it's really dark in here, and the lighting, the emissives could be a lot better. NDB approach. So medium auto brake. Ground spoilers armed. That's all set as required. That's probably 4.2 now. Sorry, hit the mic. Miles from Pico. Look at that reflection of the mountain. I'm doing flaps S. So I'm going to hold the speed bug, go for 180. Pico traffic, Azores 145 is 3,800, reducing speed 180 knots at 10 miles. Reset the view again, that default view's frustrating me. Oh, Christopher, that's a good point. Let's see if the aeroplane runs off the runway today.
Pico traffic, Portugal 585, established on the localizer for runway 2722 miles and speed 200 knots.
There's the runway. It's an offset approach, by the way, 6 degrees. So the ILS is going to have us coming in over this direction, but actually we're on an offset NDB. Minimums of 1020. About 8 miles now. Doc, I think I've probably got it on. Gear down. Autopilot off. Go to manage speeds. Pico traffic, Azores 145 is final 6 miles. Runway 27.
2,500.
Portugal 406, we are making a backtrack. We'll call for runway.
Osprey 0 finals, 15 miles.
Well, that's going to be a bit difficult. We'll do 155. Wesley, I hope you know there is likely going to be a backtrack required, right? Then we don't have FLS on because we don't have LS. Full flap. A 200 below profile here. Oh, actually no, we're bang on profile. It's the VDEV buckets throwing me off a little bit.
Pico traffic at Portugal 406, runway cleared.
Look at that for timing. And we're almost at 4 miles now.
Osprey 117, reducing speed to 200.
Yeah, let's go down. Eco is no blue. VDEV bucket's coming back actually, so I'm going to trust that. But I've got visual on the runway and I can see, in fact, 2 red and 2 white on the pappies. So we'll fly her in ourselves, just using a visual approach. You can see how the 6-degree offset localizer takes us in. A really weird angle, very similar to Innsbruck, so we're not actually flying the runway heading for the NDB approach like we would be for the ILS, which is a straight in precision approach. 2 red, 2 white, VDEV buckets, just ignoring that. Okay, well we're nice and stable. There's minimums.
Minimum.
Continue. And we're final approach speeds. I need to just do one more thing. 5,000 set on the FCP for missed approach. Keep smashing that like button, folks. Hopefully we're at 100 by now, I haven't checked. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Very short runway now, 1,600 meters stopping distance. And we could get wind shear at any moment. Middle marker. And we've just passed the NDB. Whee. That's very cool.
200.
You can definitely feel some slight changes in the wind.
100.
Holy moly, that's a small runway.
40, 30, 20, retard.
Get her down. There we go. Get her on the brakes. 534. That's a nice firm landing, but we need to get her down and on the ground. Weight on wheels. Reverse green and max, and medium auto brakes doing it for us. We go manual braking now because we need to vacate. Welcome to Pico. It's a lot harsher than I expected, but I didn't want to just waste time chasing a buttery landing. I could have, in theory, actually flared that a little bit more, but Ryanair would be proud. Pico traffic, Azores 145 is now backtrack runway 27. We'll report when vacated.
Osprey 0, short finals 5 miles away from runway 27 Pico traffic.
That's cutting it fine. I'll try, but there's no promises that we're going to be able to get off.
Osprey 174 bit line, I'm going to reduce speed down to 180.
Let's have an iris indeed.
180.
I think there might have been a bit of a bounce. Oh my god, I can see Wesley on the TCAS. It's literally 4 miles away. Yeah, but it didn't seem too hard, did it? So this is in the world update from Asobo as a handcrafted airport. It's more G-force than anything, I think, Seared Lamb. That's a bit of a more of the indicator of how firm your landing is. It'll certainly be recorded in G more than anything else. Yeah, Shamrock, a concerning landing. Toga SRS runway for the get to the gates. Pico traffic is also 145, vacated. Or as we'd say in Denham, vacated complete. I did capture that on Sky Dolly though.
Further to 170 for space. Turning now for final.
AP please.
Air Portugal 585, a 4 mile final, reduced to minimum approach speed.
Lights. Robes. Heartbreak. God, I haven't tidied any of it up. Trying to vacate quick enough. Look at that mountain, folks. Oh, there's Wesley. Is it? Oh my days.
Osprey 117 established on ILS for runway 27, currently 15 mile final, current speed 160.
Is he in an Osprey 787? Oh my god. Nice livery choice though. Oh dear. Yeah, so from the Iberian World Update, this is included in the marketplace in that download, so it's freeware. It's part of the World Update. It's really nice, isn't it? Double windsock, but look at that. It's even got an interior. And while in the background,
Osprey 0 backtrack runway 27.
what we'll do is we'll zip over this way to the other side of the runway so we can capture. Oh my god, who's that on final?
Air Portugal 585 going around. Cheers, Wesley.
Sorry.
Good.
You did undercut a little bit the gravy train of traffic. Nice go around.
Osprey 117, update 10 mile final, fully established, runway 27, current speed 130.
Goes. So we've got one on 10 mile final now. You can see how short the runway is here. There's the touchdown zone, there's the two opportunities to vacate, and then if we just pan around, there's the touchdown zone for 09. And there's the threshold. That is it. It is a tiny, tiny little airport.
Osprey 722.
Look at that for scenery.
27, 13 miles. Preparing to go around, possibly.
I'm sure you'll be fine. They've got crazy with the windsocks here. There's two there as well.
I'll prepare the parachute for an extra quick stop for you.
Thanks for that.
Alright, we left the engines running so we can get a Sky Dolly replay. Once we got the... oh my god, we got loads of people flying in. Who have we got here? Night Shepherd, Osprey 117. Gav, Osprey 772. 722, sorry. Rafiq, Azores 141. Tap 585 on a go around. And wow, John's already almost here as well. He's done incredibly well to catch up, so we'll get to watch him. In fact, in that gap, what we'll do on Volante after the last one lands is we will do a replay of our touchdown as well. And then by that point, John will have touched down. Just so you know, there's no multiplayer because I'm on VATSIM. We just literally connect on the VATSIM bit instead, and that is it, purely it. The multiplayer modes completely interfere with that sim, sadly, so you don't really ever use them. Runway 2001. I'm using my keyboard, basically. The WASD keys to move around, R and F to go up and down, and then the numpads to actually turn. Just underneath the foot per minute required for the achievement as well.
5, turning downwind for runway 27.
Okay, traffic, Osprey 722, we're in Gallery.
Where is he? Okay, there's an aircraft there. It's just about to see. What have we got on dot aircraft? Osprey 722 at 5 miles. Air Portugal, we've got John and Osprey 117 at 4. So there's a couple, there's 2 bunched in. There we go. So up there was the 7-3 just gone into cloud, and this is the Night Shepherd. We've got 3 to watch, then we'll replay my landing, then we'll watch John. And in that time, John will have caught up, which is incredibly good. What do you reckon? Smooth? Do you reckon it'll be bang on the touchdown aiming point, which is those 2 big white squares there? That's where I was aiming to get the wheels down. Here we go. Going for the accuracy as well, I think. Oh, bit of a flare. There's the last touchdown zone. He's just on. Now it's going to be a lot of brakes and a lot of reverse thrust. Look at that for scenery. That big mountain in the backdrop. Stunning. There you go. Look at that. Stops in loads of time. Going to do a backtrack, I think. So we've had 2 go-arounds now. Tap 585 for Craig. Gav, Osprey 722.
Backtracking on runway.
So Craig's over here somewhere. He's making his way back into the approach. There's the Night Shepherd. With the backdrop of Pico Mountain.
And Osprey 117 on clear, runway 27. Good luck with your landing.
Pico traffic, Air Portugal 585, turn in base for runway 27.
Here we go. Craig's second approach.
Five by 5, John.
Sounds like John's almost in radio transmitting range for us. 117 likes, guys. Thank you very much. We're all waiting for that replay. Tough approach, isn't it, the Night Shepherd? Plenty of runway, but knowing that you've only got 1,600 meters, the second you start to flare, you're counting down the meters. You're like, okay, 1,500, 1,400. Certainly taking off from here, I'd probably go for a flap 3 departure, like in Skiathos. It'd be the same sort of ethos for that. There you go, Mark. Fresh from the VATSIM servers. In the live chat, you met our request. Night Shepherd's got an amazing screenshot. Where is he? Bit of sky scanner work going on here now. So the NDB took us over sort of this direction here. It is offset 6-degree angle. It was kind of slicing across the screen towards the runway. The ILS will bring you in straight in, which is a nice bit simpler. Wow, Night Shepherd, that's incredible. Minus 227 on the landing as well. Good work. Certainly cancelled out my pretty hefty landing there.
Pico traffic, Airport School 585, established on the localizer, runway 27, 10 mile final.
Here we go. Thankfully the conditions have been perfect to allow for this today. Keeping it on live weather and live time. What I should probably do as well in preparation for the replay. Going follow mode off. That sounded like John. He's on his way in. Look at that now. Well, the mountain there, Mount Pico, shrouded in the clouds. Pretty remarkable. If you're not flown to Pico yet, give it a go. Short runway, challenging approach. Wind shear and turbulence.
John, the runway is all yours, mate. I will follow in behind you on backtrack. After that, I'll vacate the hold then and go to the station. No problem. I'll try you do it. Good luck. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, mate.
In fact, I didn't even need to do manual braking. We just did medium auto brake, full reverse thrust. With that touchdown, it was nice and firm, straight down on the touchdown zone. We let the airplane do the work. I'm certain there was a bit of a bounce though. I'm sure there was a bit of a bounce. Not sure. We'll find out in a minute on the replay. That's for certain. Whether or not I've cocked it up. We should be seeing Craig any second through this cloud. I think he's literally in that bit of cumulus there, or that bit of stratus cloud, sorry. So I feel like he's just going to punch through in a minute. Wesley, we need a translator.
Pico traffic, Air Portugal 585, 6 mile final, runway 27.
Here he comes. Visual through the cloud. Captain Nathan, welcome. How are you doing? This is Craig's approach. Then it sounds like John's coming in after. And then Gav. Very good, thanks Nathan, thanks for asking. Watching a couple of touchdowns, and then we're going to jump into our replay. We've got 3 touchdowns to go, we'll replay our landing. Literally filled up Pico. There's the windsock showing straight across the runway. Little gusts as well with the flicks. Here we go. Bam. Nice and accurate, right on the zone. And he's down. With a funky livery. Oh my god, he managed to actually vacate as well. Just about. Whee! That was almost like my pushback yesterday.
Pico traffic, Air Portugal 585, runway vacated.
Which means John's next, so I'll find him on Valanta, I'll zoom in, find out where he is exactly. Gone at Solgi. Got aircraft. Oh, he's 20 miles away. And Gav's 30 miles away. 17 miles away. Right, well in that case, let's quickly do a replay. I won't take too much time though, we'll do one replay. There we are. So, don't steal me spot. There we go, we'll hit play. So this is my landing. Indeed, Doc. Wind shear and rotor, potential like things like rotor cloud, rotor turbulence, which is pretty nasty. We're using Sky Dolly. It doesn't always record things like flap settings correctly and all that sort of thing, so I don't really know what to expect with that, but we'll have a little look. That looks like it hasn't deployed my flaps at all, but that's fine. We get the gist. It's kind of a replay of just the touchdown, really. That. Oof. Oh, you know what? That looked pretty. That looked pretty Madeira, didn't it? It's not deployed the speed brake or anything. The Sky Dolly obviously doesn't record everything still, which is a bit frustrating. For goodness sake, what's that spammer? Get lost. It's always when I replay, folks, isn't it? Anyway. I know, YouTube these days. Still, thankfully, not as bad as the abuse that people get on Twitch. There we are. We're out of the way in time. Thankfully, we're on the ball with these spammers. They tend to last for about 5 seconds before they've been given a big boot. Right, John's now on short final. About 10 miles. Doc, it is, weirdly enough, it is on subscriber mode only, so I have no idea. I think they subscribe to spam and then they disappear. Yeah, it is subscriber mode only. Weird. It's always set as that.
Pico traffic, Osprey 27, Juliet Mike is 8 mile final, runway 27.
Bo's asking what do you use to capture the screenshot. So the Xbox overlay thing that you get on Windows. I do Windows key plus G to activate the game bar, and then there's a little screenshot button there, so I click that. Works pretty well. We do need a member stream. I was thinking about that earlier, actually. Night Shepherd, good to hear. Just an amazing little runway. This is why I love this community, flying to a lot of places I'd never think of. I'd never have thought of it either. It's thanks to Ashley for dropping the idea today. Wesley, no worries, buddy. Just fly in your big beast of a 787. Damn, I just want to see a VFR tour with some GA aircraft. My PA-28, weirdly enough, seems to be very broken at the moment. I don't know if it's the livery, the Osprey livery, or something else. But I've not really been using that too much lately. Where is he? It's like that cloud is right in the way of the approach, and then they just appear through it at about 3 miles. Mountain's already completely been shrouded by that bit of cumulus that's rolling past the hill. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? MSFS and its live dynamic weather. See, it's moving around. It's alive in the environment around the aeroplane, around the world. Here he comes. John departed about half an hour after us, and he's done proper top effort catching up. Shamrock, cheers, buddy. What's he in? He's in a Fenix A320 as well, John, actually, for the first time. This is the first time he's ever flown it from memory, I think. Oh, look at that. That's superb. Absolutely bang on with a really nice flare. And he's managed to vacate just in time. Almost. So now we've just got Gav. Where is he? He is on long final. Let's just have a quick check of his distance. 31 miles away at the moment, heading of 4 degrees. In the hold. Cool, well, John's there. We're going to do one more replay, I reckon, from what view should we do? Peekaboo. I reckon something like this. So if we do full flaps now, because the aeroplane won't remember it, we'll arm the ground spoilers. There we go. And if John does the next stand 2, we will zip through him. There we are. In fact, we go back a bit. There we go. Oh, Sky Dolly's really doing weird stuff today, isn't it? Ailerons have become the spoilers. Look at that for a view.
Osprey 27 Juliet, my vacated runway 27.
Mind you, that's potentially showing you how much of a control input I was making, just to try and stay straight and level with the airfield. That wind was rolling down the hill. Sky Dolly's definitely got all the sim bars a bit mixed up though, because there is no way the aileron or the speed brake were deploying like that. Look at that mountain. Here comes the runway. Bingo. There's a nice screenshot. And we'll quickly zoom around. There we go, and then we can go spoilers, flaps. Look at those animations. Thomas, hello buddy. How are you? Let's dive into here. Brakes hot. Whoopsie. What do we want? Oh, we haven't got a brake fan. Interesting. Be somewhere else on the aeroplane. Right, that's all the lights off. Engine 2 and engine 1. Arrived. Commence deboarding. So what we can do is go to here, Fenix, ground services, and we can, oh there we go, GPU chocks cones automatically put in place, so we can add forward stairs and open doors 1 left. And then if we want, we can poke our head out the window. Ah, it's not going to work. Give John a wave. Cabs on the way in. So let's have a little look at this scenery while we're waiting, shall we? For Gav to get on finals. This is part of the Iberian Wild update. Oops. What the hell happened there? Is this a new thing with certain sceneries? You can't go inside. I've noticed it doing that a lot with some of my scenery lately. We can't go in. You can only see from the out. It's like it's hitting obstacles and jumping up. Oh my good grief. What's going on? Perhaps we can't go in then. Anyway, there's the... there's the terminal. With a bit of a nicely modelled interior as well. Not that we can explore the insides of it. This is included for free in the Iberian Peninsula World Update for MSFS. Look at that. Ah, actually, fantastic. Well, that makes sense then, because I've been noticing it with a few sceneries lately. Looks cracking though, doesn't it? And for an airport like this, it's all you need. It's a nice interior, does enough. And we've even got our own tower. With a couple of chairs inside as well. Three little stands. Old short golf, thanks buddy. Night Shepherd, thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed it flying along with us today. Grab a little screen grabber, John. Ah, that's the cargo complete.
Okay, traffic Osprey 722 on short final runway 27, finally.
Look at that. And time for Gav's landing. Worked out perfectly for timing. Oh, it's great to have you back. Hope you're okay.
Good night, Shepard.
Short final. Where is he? The old MSFS render thing again, where it will just appear in a moment. He's very short final. We should see him now. Old short golf. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Where is he? So performance-wise for the Fenix update, we were running with initially with performance over quality for the screen render linked to my GPU. That was giving me a nice bit of frames per second performance pre-update. What I've now been able to do is run it on balance mode, so I've got crisper displays balanced with performance. So higher quality balanced with performance on my GPU in the Fenix app, and I'm getting the same performance. So there has been improvements in the way the aeroplane performs in the sim, which is really good to see. This is where we find out Gav's done a John and he's gone to a different airport entirely. Do you remember that? Indeed, he'll appear in a second. This is on the offset localizer, in which case he's over there. 6 degrees, about that way. He's not there, so he must be on the ILS. Let's do a quick on vpilot.aircraft. That will tell us exactly how far away he is. He is 6 miles. So I think in MSFS it will...
I thought about it actually.
Yeah, I think it appears at about 5. You know, actually, I read that comment in the live chat then I thought, oh god, we'll have to go and spot him over there now. Water, by the way, if you are wondering, is that island there. And the airport is just over that ridge. I wonder if we can see it from here. No, not quite. Literally over that bump in the hill. And that's the island of Horta's Airport. That's very tricky as well. Great approach. Where is he? He's going to appear in a second. We'll keep zooming in every now and again just to pan around. Hey, there he is. Yeah, it's about 4 miles, I think the aircraft get rendered in the sim then at the moment, by the looks of it. There's the runway. Move the drone cam to a more appropriate position ready. There you go. That gradient will be good. See the flare then. No pressure, he's already done one go around. Yeah, actually, absolutely. I did check. And I thought, water is actually a couple of, about 5, 6, 7 miles away anyway. In the Osprey World Cargo livery, I think by the looks of it, in the PMDG 737. Such a fantastic aeroplane in the sim. In hindsight, I probably would have loved to have done this route in that aeroplane. Here he comes. There's the touchdown zone, centre of the screen. He's over it. Oh, look at that. Nice firm landing. Oh. Well, out of the way, John. There we go. Look at that. That was nicely done, actually. I think well recovered, well recovered. Down to the end for a backtrack. And if you're wondering, how do you get the aircraft from APU back to ground power? Got to close this, so I've got to... no, I don't. Let's use the other one. All you've got to do is go into here, make sure you go into the ground services section and find GPU, make sure that's connected. If it is, you will have, in the overheads, external power available. To change across, APU bleed off, master switch off, jobs are good. Then the aeroplane will transfer across to that instead. Then we'll get to hear the APU spool down, shut down noises as well for the Fenix A320, which I don't think I've heard before. So it will stay 100% for 2 minutes, I think the timings were, and then at 2 minutes it will spool down. Such a great livery on the 737, that. the Osprey cargo and the Osprey passenger liveries. Something about that on the 737 that looks brilliant. Double windsock, standard Asobo stuff.
Okay, traffic, Osprey 722, clear of runway 27. That was real bad. Big air traffic.
Looks alright to me. Now we've got to get Mount Pico in the background, of course. Look at that. Bing! Screenshot. And again. Everybody who flew along, I hope you've enjoyed the route. Thanks to Ashley for picking it. And those of you in Osprey Airways tracked it on LRM, check your account. You should now have the Pico achievement unlocked as well. Welcome on board to all of our new subscribers. We've got Bence, Lucas, No Name, Hyper Gabe, Chris Mack. Welcome to the channel, folks. And as always, those of you who are bronze, silver, gold frequent flyers, or indeed just our frequent viewers as well, and our frequent subscribers always returning back to the channel. It's great to have you here. Thank you for joining us today. Before you head off, if you've not done so already, there's the APU noise. Please do hit the subscribe button down below. And of course, if you want to get your hands on the Fenix A320, head to their website, fenixsim.com. Next live stream's probably going to be next Thursday, so 6 days away from now. And we're going to plan something linked to either the Far East or perhaps the new Simwings Anchorage scenery. Most likely, next aircraft is going to be the 737 as well. Checking out the new update that's coming very soon, hopefully, from PMDG. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the weekend ahead. I'm back to work for the weekend and then away for a few days, a different part of the country on a little holiday. I hope to see you during the next live stream. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Take care.
Stream, guys. Thanks a lot.